You think that's gonna last, or
I had a sales meeting today.
I think
I let him know.
Davey's back.
I let him know I was here.
New episodes of Barstool Radio every Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you subscribe and set your notifications on so you never miss any Barstool content.
Dave's not. Well,
Dave and the dog have hit a rough patch.
Dave is already.
Yeah.
Dave's firing on all cylinders for a lot of reasons. I mean, well, wait, hang on. They're having trouble with mics. Is his mic on? Yes. Okay. I mean, you got in at 8. I mean, the place was empty.
Well, it's empty
until 10.
Yeah, right.
That is fucking crazy.
Nuts, because it's like I just bought the company. You know I'm here,
and you're already clowning Rico and shit. So it wasn't like he's it's like happy-go-lucky.
And I don't like the people who weren't here. Nate, Tommy, Marty. These guys, I just saved their lives. Like
literally.
Quite literally, if you don't work here, you have nowhere to work. You know that, Nate. You said it.
Oh, yeah. I was
and you just come limp. I take it to you come limping in at like 10:20. It's actually astounding.
That was particularly empty too. Like
it was no. I wrote zero. The only reason I went out there was it was so deafening, the silence. I noticed it. I'm like, what is going on? There was nobody there, and you're the number one complainer, right? But it's like even you are
no. Who complains more than you?
I've stopped caring.
Oh,
I know, really.
I told. Well, he cares. He doesn't care about the right thing.
Well, no, now it's like I bought, so everyone can just fucking. I guess they were slacking off before, but now they can really slack off. Smitty, and I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know. I know he's had 2 kids, but he said Penn offered him a 4-month maternity leave,
a paternity leave, but.
4 months? Is that like?
Oh, that can't be true. That's what usually like the mom gets, but I don't think the dad gets.
I don't know.
Quality.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm gonna pop out another fucking kid if I get 4 months off. Jesus Christ.
4 months. I don't know if that's like.
4 months. Wait, so is that what he was saying? He was like, that's why I didn't blog?
He's like, just so you know, I was offered a 4-month maternity leave, and I only took 4 weeks.
Okay. Just so you know, I'm actually working hard.
Well, no, he said he wasn't working hard, but listen. You always know everyone has personal lives, so I don't want to speculate because I haven't talked to him. I can't say for the better part of 15 years he's had an excuse for everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how many times can you cry wolf? But yeah, that whole, it reminded me Frankie vaguely. Do you remember when he, like day 1, when he left, he's like, all right, I'm done here, 4 o'clock.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
But that also was, Frankie was like 20 whatever years old and like new to the company. A lot of this is like, you have to know.
I think a big change, which again, there's different elements, like, believe it or not, Frank the Tank. I don't really fucking care when Frank the Tank gets in here because he's making content that people interact with 24/7. Again, the loser pen over there does not. Like, they don't have that. People do not care if they're just gone forever. So,
who would you say? What's a
major change is going to be? I told Smitty, like, you're not a stay-at-home dad and working here. Like, that's out. If you want to stay at home, go work somewhere else. Right. But like, either be in the office or don't work here, unless Caleb Presley has fucking Sunday Conversation. Those people will be the same. I don't fucking care.
Always been the case, though.
If you have your franchise,
you can go golf if
do whatever
it makes
the fuck
$1 billion.
you want.
Like,
if you're Nate Dogg, Tommy Smokes, the loser pen, you better fucking be here. And yes, 10 o'clock's, I get it. But
wait, what does that mean?
Like 10 o'clock's usually, now it's old, things have morphed. Like 10 o'clock is usually when I'd be like, you have to be there. Right. But in the old days, we were working
all the fucking time.
1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Nate's drinking fucking red wine, like literally trying to get it to go. Like he can't afford like pounding on the way out. Like, I don't get how when I'm here briefly, it just shows like you are living in a fantasy. John Rich was fucking here. Austin's here, I think, the earliest.
But those are 2 of like, at least Austin's like your guy.
Yeah, and my people
always know.
My people always fucking know. I just don't get it. It's so disrespectful, honestly.
But it's also just
that's what I mean.
It's mere hours after.
That's what
everything.
I mean. Like, that's what I mean. It was
even if
so
it was a
disrespectful.
week from now, but day 1,
it actually
you should almost want to be here. You know what I mean?
It shows that you don't have any appreciation at all. Like you're just taking this all for granted. That's what it shows. And I'm not bullshitting. Like, I was legit mad. People probably like, oh, he's back and he's doing it for show. The fucking place was dead ass empty.
Yeah, I have no reply. Like, yeah, should have been here.
To be fair, like part of what we're doing in New York with the Chicago move was like we all knew we need to get back to like the office being
100%.
Like, so we knew that it's been dead and it's been just a place you come and go. So it's not like I guess that maybe is more to the point though. Is like we already knew that, so like now is the time to do it. That's we've been talking about Barstool Radio and we're doing it now because now's the time to do it. So the fact that there wasn't much of that is kind of crazy, but
it was empty. It was flat fucking empty over there.
Did you set an alarm or anything? Like, was there?
I mean, I work from home in the morning. Like,
I was saying on KC Radio, I woke up this morning.
I'm not gonna like argue with Dave here. Like, I work at night. I edit blogs till 1 a.m. I work from home in the morning. Like, should have been here this morning.
But ironically, like the earliest people here were me. I saw Kevin Fido. Like
but
that's the
not
thing.
ironic.
It's
fucking
always
truth,
the same fucking thing. Like, I was joking with Dan, and I was like, Smitty said he got 4 weeks maternity. He's like, I didn't take a day. Like, he literally
he was that rough and rowdy when he almost missed it.
But that's why Smitty, the stoolies will eat it up. Oh, I'm doing pus. No, you haven't done anything for 2 decades. That you haven't. Right. And the people who have are where they are because they have.
But I think it's also like.
At least Smitty, be here so I can make fun of you. That's your only value.
Yeah, well, I think
that literally is all he brings. Just be a punching bag. That's all you're good at.
I think that's why Rico he'll be on a 1-year contract, but every single year he'll get a deal just for this moment of him being on vacation during the biggest moment in Barcelona.
Rico has taken 3 of the last 4 weeks off. It's funny because someone posted the Hank like on a rundown. Did you see I reposted it? And Hank took a vacation week right after we had Christmas, New Year's off. So 10 days off.
He doubled up.
Yeah, and I'm like, we just gave you, like, offices don't shut down like how we do. In the real world, you get July 4th off and you're in the next day. You get Christmas off, you're in the next day. You don't get 10 fucking days. So then to backlog it with vacation like what Rico did, Hank did the same thing. He's like, well, your whole life is vacation. Rico's like, well, the fire department is 5 weeks. Well,
you're not at the fire department.
And Rico will never have more. The Rico is the least motivated, laziest human I've ever met. The only way you can motivate him is if he thinks his job is done. He's proven that. So he should be on a month to month, never mind a year.
We have in the notes here, and I don't know if this is true. I'm assuming they did some research that he was on vacation for the last company meeting and he was on vacation when he was fired.
Yeah,
he was fired during the company meeting before that.
He's never
for his last
every time I'm here he's gone.
I mean, part of that is
he's in Aruba.
Part of that is Rico. Part of that is just that Rico is like the most unlucky guy in the world. That this could have materialized a week before, a week after, but it's always Rico. That's also his value is that he has the worst fucking timing in the world.
3 weeks out of the last 4, he's been again. I don't appreciate the pile on the people who take all of 4th of July off, and then it's like I'm taking the next week off. It's like we had just had a vacation,
right? Also, who needs to? I'm done on like day 4 of a vacation. You're on day like 14.
And he keeps doing his thing. He's like, well, my sister invited me here. I had no choice. My wife invited me here. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you've got forced at gunpoint to go to Aruba? And who goes to fucking Aruba in August?
I love when people say that stuff to you as if Dave Portnoy is going to care at all about like
everyone has their
plans, you know?
Everyone has an excuse.
It's like, but I would never in a million years be like, well, my mom planned an event. Like, he's going to be like, I don't fucking care about that.
Yeah, it's just...
the people who are new... I guess I get it, but like the people who have been around know the deal.
Yeah, there's no.
Or I would think
we have to get the offices going again.
Yeah,
that's
right.
If people don't want to come in, they won't work here.
Well, I was just saying on KFC Radio, the only way you really make content is if you want to.
Totally.
It's not even about money. Like, you can make money and you can become a star and all that shit, but it's just about, I like doing it and I want to be funny, be the best, be first on the scene. And if you don't want it, probably the only way to motivate people is saying you're going to lose.
Right.
Otherwise, it just has to.
That was always the mentality. It's like, well, we don't really care about vacation because it was all content people. It's like, well, if you're not making content, like, that's hurting you as much as it is us. Like Rico. one of his shticks is Little League Baseball. Like, that is what he talks about. Guess what's going on right now?
No, is it?
Little League Baseball.
Oh, no.
Like, the regionals are going on. ESPN
That's
constantly right
It's
now.
like, taking a vacation in the middle of Mets World Series.
This is
or something.
what
Like,
he
come
talks
on, dude.
about 24/7. And I guess he asked Hank if we'd send him to a regional game or something. But you turn on the TV almost nonstop on ESPN. There's the Little League regionals getting ready to go to Williamsport, and he's off on Aruba. So whatever, do you, Rico? I mean, it's like, and then he'll be shocked. And he's another one. He quite literally has no other options. He lied about Odyssey. They didn't want his crazy ass. He has nowhere to go. Has
he had like a mea culpa with you? Has he been like, I'm sorry? Or like,
about what?
About this? Like, has there been, no?
He just, I got it. Yeah. Like, Dan thought he was joking. When I came in, I thought people were joking. It's like, where's Rico? Like, he's on vacation. I'm like, haha, where is he?
Yeah.
And then Gaz texted me. He's like, I think he's in Aruba.
We debated. We were like, do you think he just gets on a plane and flies back?
I would. That wouldn't be a question in my mind. I would, just to not deal with the wrath. I would be back here.
I think that's a Milton thing.
I would have been back here.
He's a lifelong Oblo guy. He just has always Oblos.
Bridge.
Like, you don't have normal job. That's what drives me crazy. It's like, what happens if you just have a normal job? You have to show up every single day. Like, that's not. Look, I had an Oblo. I can't be there. Like, what are you talking about? You show up, and that's what you do at 99% of 9 to 5s.
But this is ruining the vacation anyway, right? So
yeah, you're not even having fun anymore. If you think that he's just like puts down the phone, is like whatever. Babe,
I even saw.
Did
I overhear Frankie? I saw being like he should call in the radio, and he's not going to, or something.
No, I think he already has called into the previous show. I think he called into Pick Central.
Yeah, but
I think he will be calling in. I think the plan is probably to do the last call like he used to do. So I would be stunned if he did not do that.
And how? Well, I still don't get you. I know you're just like, I'm sorry, but it's like,
That's it. Yeah. What do you want me to fight you?
no, I don't want you to fight you. I
think it's more that it just kind of, it's like you showed your true colors a little bit, where it's like there wasn't one part of your brain that said like I should be there or I want to be there. Like,
I work from home in the morning. Then I got here at 10:30.
but I think the vibe should be like, I'm gonna work from the office today because it's day one of like the new. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, obviously,
Just a
in
brain-
retrospect, should have been here a half hour.
I mean, I will say it's just been a long time since the office has mattered, so I'm sure people are on autopilot. But I think this should have probably kickstarted.
it
something.
seemed more aware yesterday.
Yeah. Like it was. It was
Wasn't yesterday.
yes. There was a palpable energy, and then it was a fucking morgue
really,
in the morning.
really good vibes yesterday.
Yeah.
Tommy hasn't spoken in a half an hour.
I just
so.
didn't know what to. I did go through my head. I was like, I want to be there early today. I got in at 9:50. I should have been here earlier. I thought
Right, that, and I get it because content's different, but like people, if anyone's listening,
In the real world, they'd be like-
they are throwing up. You're like, I had to get there early, so they're at 9:50. Like,
I know
that
that's
is
early
like
in general.
fucking
I
nuts.
just thought, well, my morning, I really thought it was going to go differently. I walked in with this jumpsuit and I saw nobody here. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm one of the first ones here. Didn't go that way. I should have been here even earlier.
Yeah. Well, it also hurts that you were actually at the office at 8. You said. Yeah. I mean,
I don't sleep. I'm old. I don't sleep.
Yeah, you can't.
I literally,
Dude, it's every.
I just
5 a.m. I'm like,
I
I guess I'll just start the
just
day.
up.
It's brutal.
go to bed early. Last night I went to bed late, but I generally go to bed pretty early and wake up pretty early now.
Okay, so wait. All of this shit aside, how are you feeling? Because I think
Great.
I
but
think
it's
people
like,
can tell. By the way,
I don't want to have to be here. Like, I
Yeah.
still have tax things in Florida, so I got to live there half the year. I'm worried if I'm not in here, the trash section of the office, the trash pen, is just gonna
big pen,
sit there and do nothing.
I plan on taking it upon myself to make the office a better place, but I'm not like interested in.
Babysitting.
Yeah, like if you want to do it. But I'm not going to be like, you weren't here and you have to be here. It's just like, then you're out. Like, we won't
Right.
do content with you. Like, so
I think that's got to change a little bit. That, like, Smitty, just because he's been here for 2 decades, you don't get to be here another 2 decades being a stay-at-home dad. Like, that's robbing. That's stealing. So we got to change that. Like, show up or don't show up. Even if you just sit there to, like, again, if Smitty's not in the office when the paintball gun goes by his head, that content doesn't, like, you just have to be in the mix for those moments to happen.
Totally.
They don't
Just
happen.
be there.
Right. If you're sitting at home. So that's going to change.
But all of this aside, before this shit started, I think yesterday people, I don't know if it's like chicken or the egg, But I think people were like, you can tell Dave is like,
well, I'm happy,
and,
yeah.
like,
and it's like, you don't want to see the company's been around for 20 years and there's a select group. And I said it in our meeting, which is probably what I keep going back. You're going forward, I'm going back. But the select people know we reverse unionized in a way. Like the people, the leadership, the people who've been here a long time, like stuck together to ensure the future of Barstool Sports. I would say that like we like I'm fucking very rich and like could have fucked off and been like very happy. I saved Nate and the fucking trash people over there. So I'm very happy about that because I like Barstool and it should be a quirky, weird place that you don't have to worry about those cards on the desk that are like report and be a narc and all that shit.
That was nuts.
That's crazy, those cards.
Yeah.
And it's like how many HR people we got. It's like, oh, we don't need, like, go back to just being as much as you can. I'm sure the laws of society still apply to us. Like that's why I'm
can't
like,
go back to the old
no
ways.
like maternity leave just because we're private. I can't be like Smitty. You get 0 maternity leave. I don't think I can do that. So
he's called a maternity.
whatever it is, like I don't know. There's still general laws of civilization we have to follow. And I don't even know what those are. Like old days, Smitty, like you're
Doesn't
not
matter.
taking a day off.
Yeah.
It's like so. But I'm happy. In Barstool is very secure. So that's like when it all shook out. Not that we envisioned it this way. It really was, I think, the best thing that could have happened. It's almost like when the ESPN thing failed for Van Talk.
Yeah.
And you look back, like,
blessing in disguise.
I think the way this all went was really good.
No, but I mean, it all worked out. But I do think, obviously you were at a point for years now where if you wanted to, you could have just been like, I'm out.
Right.
And you guys,
I didn't think
whatever.
I'd ever own it like how I didn't see that coming. So like that was a refreshing,
Yeah, that's your baby that you got back.
yeah,
Like,
right.
I know, I'm sure part of you was happy to get rich, but giving up Barstool even to Chernin was probably a little bit like, holy shit. This is
Yeah, I had the same feeling I've had the 3 times we've done shit. Like the Chernin deal, the Penn deal, and this one, where when you're in it, a lot's happening and it almost doesn't feel real. And then when it happens, it's relief. Like the first time, it's like a little bit of money. So like, I'm not going to be broke. Second one, it's like, whoa, I'm rich now. Like I'm never going to have to worry about money. And now it's like maybe more of a legacy.
I was
It's
gonna say,
like
once you get your
Barstool's-
money, you go on to
Yeah.
legacy shit.
Yeah, like Barstool is back because I was, I didn't really know what the future would be for it. But now I do think it'll die at our hands or continue to go.
I mean, when you said it could go on to my children, I was touched.
Yeah, right. Because who else is going to have it right now?
Would you rather have my kids at their age right now run the company or Nate? My kids get up early.
How old are your kids now?
7 and 6.
Yeah, it's a toss up.
I have a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Are you like reinvigorated now? Like I feel like all the money in the world can't make you as happy as like yelling at Smitty or fucking with Rico. Are you just like fired up to?
No, I mean, I do like doing that, but again, it's going to be hard for me to be in New York City a lot because I do have to be, and I'm not going back to like fucking babysitting everybody. So I'll try to be here more, but I still have to do half the year in Miami.
No thought of just fucking off Miami and just
It's too much money.
what is money? Numbers.
No, but I've factored everything I've done to this point with tax bills. So it's like I'd be so fucked. Maybe down the road when it's like, but I still there's a shit ton of money still coming in.
Yeah.
How nice was that yesterday? Like we were talking about how like we like all felt like we became like fans again.
Yeah.
Like how sick was that? Walk around the office, be like everyone here fucking loves.
I don't know like 99% of the people.
There's a lot of big.
But like everyone, like
I've
it's
told
like,
this story. I
It was
can
like
tell it. It's fucking Pete the other day. Some fucking guy. I don't know who he is. Green, orange hair, kind of bigger. And like at the time, I didn't want him to quit. I still don't really know who he is. Fucking Stu Feiner just put a hat on him that says Stu Feiner and Friends, this mesh hat. Comes in my office. He's like, I'm going to need you to like give me access to your black card. I was like, who are you?
What?
Yeah.
Your black card?
Yeah. He's like, we got to shut people off. I'm like, I just cut him. I'm like, who are you? And this is before the announcement when I knew I was like about to take the company back. And I was just like, who the fuck is this?
I'm envisioning the scene from.
I went and yelled at Pete. I go, this guy works for you, Pete? You let him walk into my office and be like, I need access to your fucking black card? Like, are you nuts, Pete?
I'm envisioning Longshanks from Braveheart when he's like, who is this person?
Yeah.
He throws him out the fucking window.
One of the sales guys didn't reply to me the other day, and I was just like, I can't wait. Yeah.
I think there's just a
How's
lot of that.
Sausage feeling right now?
I don't know how he's still here. I guess he's a good salesman. He's been doing stuff, and I don't personally hate him, but he.
Oh, that was the fucking. You can see the smirk.
Sausage started showing up to my hotels in Miami, swimming in my pools when I used to stay at the one hotel.
No.
And I was very vocal about that. Where I stayed in Miami. One day I just see Sausage floating across the water. I'm like, this motherfucker knows I stay here.
No.
Yeah, Sausage.
Some of these moves, I'm just like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, Sausage.
I would never be like, I'm gonna go to
Remember
Dave's
Frankie
hotel.
was stuffing his fat fucking face with a shrimp cocktail?
So Dave, today we
at the Kentucky Derby.
Today we interviewed someone for a foreplay role, a business role, and the first thing he led with was I grew up with Sage, and I'm really good friends with him, so that combination will be great for you guys.
Yeah.
And I went on to tell the story about how this guy put us basically into the closet at the Kentucky Derby while he stuffed his face with fucking long leg crab legs. It was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
It was the crazy. I'm like, you're looking at Dave on the other side of the glass, and he's waving to Dave. Hi, Dave. The AC's nice in here.
We went to the Kentucky Derby, and I do horse events. Like, those are my private time. But they sold an ad, and they put me and Frankie at a table with people who they couldn't stand there, so drunk. And they were just like fans and talking. It was awful. And you looked across the room. Sausage was at the buffet, just stuffing his face with like shrimp cocktail. I reamed him out for it. That's when your boy saw me. I called him down. I said it to his face. I'm like, you fucking stuffing your face, you fat fuck. That's what made me go up and.
Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders was getting a tour of the office, and he's like, "Oh, is Dave in?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like the boss man's here. You're gonna get to see him. Like you're getting the full tour."
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, as we're about to walk up to Dave's office, you hear, "You piece of shit, fucking loser! Like you're putting me." And he's screaming.
Lots
at
of
him.
stuff still. I don't know, as a private company like that, you can call people.
Yeah. Well, no, now you can again.
Can you?
I think you had less. Oh, you're saying like the rules still
Yeah,
apply?
like what if Sage was like,
gonna-
hey,
yeah.
my boss one time went up and went through my trash because he accused me of eating double Shake Shacks, which I did. Like that was when Biz bought the Shake Shack.
Yes.
I went up and I went through his trash. I'm like, I know it was you, Sage. Can you still get
Who
sued for
would
that?
be the person to get you in trouble for that? Like what?
Like
I
I think he would have to like personally sue or
I
something.
think
right?
there's still rules of society.
OSHA,
Like, I don't know if you can call people like fat fucks like that. I don't know.
I think. Listen, if we're not, come on, let's just shut the whole fucking thing down if we can't call people fat fucks anymore.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it is. It's nice, but what do you want? You want the mushy stuff, or you want the dog back? Because you said it. You said you got to change. You got to change. I don't think you could ever change. The man sitting right there, he changed my life. I've been thrown once again another fucking lifeboat of a drowning man. If I was at Odyssey, no joke, I think we're allowed to say this again, I probably would have killed myself. I think we're allowed to talk like that again. I'm sure Stu's going to find that line, and Jerry too. But yeah, I got another lifeline, and it took me 10 years to realize, like, the great coaches like Phil Jackson and Bill Belichick, they're going to ride you till there's nothing left. And the old saying is, diamond turns shitheads into, or pressure turns shitheads into diamonds. I think I'm like a QZ right now, or a CZ, a cubic zirconia, but hopefully I turn into a diamond. And this man, we know it's going to be riding, The dog, we were house pups for a while. We were house pups, and now all the dogs are unleashed. The wild dogs are out. We know, I guess it's, Dave has experience with doggy style. We're back to doing it. We're going to get ridden, and that's how it's going to go, folks. Like, get in. The best coaches are the ones who ride you the most, and David's thrown me a bunch of lifeboats. And I talked to Kevin last night. I said, if you don't want me to call, you're like, I fucked over a lot of people. And I realized when I was drowning, people are more likely to save you if you were helping them with lifeboats instead of throwing fucking cement blocks at them And I threw cement blocks at a lot of people for 10 years. So if they're keeping score and they want to throw them back at me, I totally get it. I fucked up. And I hope people are seeing the change each day as it goes, trying to laugh with it a little bit more.
All right, Rico. This call's no good, Rico.
I'm just saying,
I will say, enough, Rico. I will say one last thing before we go, because I know the act's waiting, but Francis did dead serious walk into my office, sit down, and goes, I got a couple blogs that haven't been published. Like suicide, you name it, like dark shit. Like, all right, yeah.
Are we back? Are we back?
And he's just in that frenzy. He's like, I'm very excited. dark shit. Talk about killing himself, hanging. He's like, okay, good. I'm very excited.
The fallout from yesterday was, like, against all odds, it's centered around this guy named David Walsh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
David Walsh is a third floor guy. Second floor, if you're not familiar, second floor is content. Third floor is
New third floor guy.
Yes, because third floor, there's been third floor people who have earned their stripes. There's been third floor people who have turned into second floor people. There are good third floor people who work hard. I got a little toot from the booking girls today who were like, "Hey, we're third floor and like we do a good job." And I was like, "You guys aren't really third floor.
They're second.
Like you work in content.
They're their own like entity.
But they were like, "No, but we are third floor. We get lumped in with that, and then you guys, motherfuck us, and we're kind of fine." Yes, I will say there needs to be certain departments that get their flowers, that do a good job at Barstool, but mostly on the third floor. From the second floor, we're like, fuck you guys. So David Walsh, he took umbrage with yesterday's episode with Dave discussing the third floor, and he tweeted, this is yesterday at 8:30 p.m., distinction should be made from second floor and third floor. The third floor keeps the ship running smoothly, so the second floor can shine. He's so lucky he added in that second floor shit. If he was just like, yo, the third floor is where it's at, I would have probably burned down the third floor. Admin time is a bit different from show time, and then the piece de resistance, he finishes it with, "We'll pencil you in for a meeting tomorrow."
And this was added at Dave.
This is at Dave. We come to learn David Walsh is the same guy who Dave told the story yesterday, who rolled up on him and said, "I need your Amex card, give it to me." And Dave was like, "Who are you?" We said it was like in Braveheart, Longshanks, when he threw that guy out the window. Like, who the fuck are you talking to me?
What's his reason for saying that?
I think there was a valid reason. I think there's a lot of people mooching off of Dave's credit card still. Some people use it, and they probably shouldn't. And I think it was like, we need to, when it was prior to this, I don't think people cared. Now it's like, I think there was a valid reason. I just don't think I would saunter up to Dave and be like, "Give me your credit card." Turns out that's the same guy. Yeah, so that's the same guy who does the credit card, and sends this tweet, I guess probably maybe through the grapevine, or maybe just had it, like his brain started working again, realized like, oh shit, what the fuck am I doing? Proceeds to stand outside of the office in the morning for starting at 7 a.m. with 2 coffees. Oh, it was actually a fan, right? A diehard fan tweeted in general about the Barstool office. For day 2, if you guys aren't standing outside of Dave's office with a coffee in hand waiting for him, you're doing it wrong.
Stealing my role.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
I
am Dave's coffee guy.
That is cultural appropriation. To be honest, so David Walsh, this guy, asked, who's the tall guy from the Atlanta Braves fan? Tall dude? Travie.
Sean is his real name.
He asked him, he was like, is Dave in yet? I think, do you think he'd like a coffee? And Travie said, that's actually Tommy's thing. So I don't know. I would go talk to him, but it's nice to know that Tommy is such a dick sucking
right.
People know that's his role.
Well, I kind of have retired from that because the last time I tried that incident it was actually fucking Festouli, who we could talk about more later. Will Compton just sent us a text from Festouli.
Oh yeah.
But he set up this. It was like Dave's first day back in the office for a while, and I just bought him a coffee. Or the day prior, he said to Austin, "Oh, usually Tom would be here with my coffee." So the next day, I had a coffee waiting for Dave. He was in late, and Festouli set up this whole prank where Joey handed him a coffee 5 seconds before I handed Dave his coffee, and then I spilled my coffee all over my laptop. And Dave was like, Tommy, you're a bit guy now? What are you doing?
Well, that was so ridiculous that I did think it was a bit.
No, it was not. I mean, it was, but it wasn't my bit. I was just getting Dave a coffee.
It was like bitception. They
outbidded.
They bidded you on your bit.
I mean, I wouldn't even consider it a bit. Like, I wasn't doing it for content. I was just getting Dave a coffee.
Well, everything you do is...
That's a bit.
Yeah. You getting...
I got Dave...
It better be, otherwise you really are a bitch, dude.
I got Davis coffee every day for like 3 years. That wasn't a bit.
But it turned into
it. I guess bringing it back. Yeah. But I wasn't going to make content. Or maybe I did make content out of it.
Totally. You're Tommy Smokes, bro.
Yeah. Fair.
So, anyway, he decides to do the coffee thing, waits outside for 2 hours. No Dave. By the way, everyone on the payroll shows up today, of course. But it's almost so many people showed up today that I was like, fuck, you guys have no self-respect. Like, show up, but don't come crawling in on your knee. You had to do it, but also it's so disingenuous. It's like you're only doing it because you all got chewed out yesterday.
How many people would be here tomorrow?
That's the real test. A Friday in the summer. By the way, Dave did not come in today, so all these people like on edge and waiting to get coffee and shit, waiting for him. It's like, yeah, no, he's gone. He went back to Miami. Like, see ya. So that will be the big question.
Let me be the first to get ahead of this that I have to fly for a sponsored video for work tomorrow to a Red Bull event.
Well, Tommy's out, so Tommy's not even.
That's clear. That's good. That I'm going to.
Tommy won't even be at work tomorrow.
I'm working on Saturday. It's a 7-day week for me.
7-day week. You were at your desk yesterday at 6:30 p.m. I looked over and I was like,
that was I wasn't doing that.
You had an outfit change.
Yeah, we did a video and then I came back to the office to wait to go do a different video. That wasn't. I would not have been here.
Yeah, I was nervous walking in with a suitcase today. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah,
I got to catch a train.
Those are things you can't do. You can't have like any sign that you're gonna go have fun, basically. But anyway, everybody shows up. The internet's not even working because it's never had this many fucking people on its like bandwidth or whatever. But David
Walsh was buying coffee.
The star is David Walsh, who we then come to find out has been tweeting and mixing it up with Stooley's Clubhouse. If you don't know Stooley's Clubhouse, that's kind of like a modern day Deke Zucker, I would say. An account that is just like all things Stooley and Barstool. When there was no Barstool Radio, he kind of like kept it going with gossip and talk and drama, and then he started to do Twitter Spaces, kind of like Clubhouse. And have you done it before? People jumped in there and shit.
I
right?
haven't done it.
Oh, I thought people do.
Some people do.
Yeah.
I have
Some
not.
Barstool people mix it up and they talk in there. David Walsh was one of them, and in his Stooley's Clubhouse appearance was talking about I'll fight in Rough and Rowdy. He has tweets clowning Tommy Smokes.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, your fight video is fake, set up, staged." Like,
still have the black eye from it.
Still literally have a mark on my eye. First of all, rude. And like, second of all, why are you acting like a Twitter troll?
Yeah, well, that's basically what he's doing. He's a Twitter troll. He's a reply guy.
Andrew Tate,
he's talking. Yeah, he's a huge
Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson.
Yep. So
I'm a man. He tweeted, "I'm a man" at Andrew Tate.
He tweeted that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love him. I'm in love with David Walsh.
So I kind of was like, this dude's either the biggest dork in the world, or maybe he's like the boss. Maybe he's just rolling in being like, saying to Dave, I'll pencil you in, is like, you're either just, you've totally misassessed the situation, or you know exactly what the fuck you're doing and you don't give a shit.
I think people blur the lines between, if you're like a fan of Barstool, between internet and reality.
Yeah,
and
well,
I
also,
feel like
when you blur the lines between fan and employee,
yes,
it's a little weird. You start getting tattoos, the whole thing gets a little funny.
I like to pride myself on not making quick snap judgments on people. I usually like to let new employees, I feel them out before I really decide what I think about them. I said hello to David. I gave a nod to David Walsh yesterday, right by those stairs.
You know him?
I wish I could take it back. I rescind my nod. I just didn't know who it was. I just nod at people in the hallway. Now I know that was this guy, and nod is taken back.
This guy recouped his fucking. He repoed.
I can see myself doing it right now, like an angel floating above myself, and like Ghost of Christmas Past. Like, don't do it! Don't fucking nod at him. I nodded, and I regret. I mean, I didn't know he was this kind of guy. I would not have nodded. I like to make that very clear. I didn't know he was this kind of guy. I didn't know if I had known he was the guy who sent an email that said "Hello, Barstonians."
I love that.
I would have not nodded.
Well, John, if you have not kept up with his blogs recently within the last couple months, John has really been leading the cause, leading the charge against corporate life. HR and human like the people team, and let's like do a happy hour, and let's have these silly puns.
Goats in the office.
Let's have goats in the office. Let's have a jacket that you win if you do really good work. All that shit. John fucking went scorched earth and burned. That was really not the beginning, but that was kind of the official second floor, third floor rivalry where people were actually genuinely upset about that upstairs.
Oh, yeah, good. And I was usually I feel bad about things I do, almost everything, and I was like, good. They should be bad. They should be. That was like the start of the opposite of Trump. We're saying it again. We're not doing it anymore. We're not doing it anymore.
Public shaming is back.
Yeah.
And it
in a
should
big way.
be, dude.
Yeah.
Yo, shame is the number one motivator in the world. Whether it's like get your shit in shape, start doing your work, whatever. Pete.
Oh, well.
You want to talk? Pete has
Not
denied.
contact.
I just want it on the record that Pete denied. So we come to find out that David Walsh is a Pete guy. Now,
Which means he might have access to our computers, in which case...
But do you think people actually
Pretty
abuse
open
that
about
and
it.
like look at your computer? Like, do you think if I had access to,
I was gonna say if he's in Julie Clubhouse's Wednesday night chats, I feel like that's the guy.
This guy knows all the fucking porn I watch. This guy knows all the fucking text I send. That's like 100% a fact. And I'm still saying he's a loser. So I know he's got a knife to my throat, and I'm still like, fuck it.
You see the mouse start moving as you're fucking.
exactly.
But if I had access, I would probably look at people's fucking computers. Like,
Of course you would. That's why you're on the show.
Of course. I mean, Tommy, hello. Would you not? Would you
And a
not
heart.
take a peek
I didn't even
at a
feel the need
fucking-
to say it.
I mean, we had Greer on KFC Radio the other day saying how he's the Wizard of Oz at this place. He knows all the downloads and all the numbers and who gets what. I was like, you.
Greer, by the way, this guy's such a fucking dink that it was suspected that there were rumors, mumbling, scuttlebutt that Greer created the account and Greer was doing it
because it was that
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it was
only
people
one
were
who
like
follows
Greer's
it.
Be real.
Greer's like sewering him. Like they can't be real.
That would be the ultimate
But then,
play.
and had he not gotten into that Stooley's clubhouse and spoken by himself, there would be no evidence that it's actually him.
Saying he wants to fight at a rough and rowdy.
Well, so he says the direct quote somebody asked on the clubhouse. Or
We have the
Twitter
audio.
space. Okay, let's play it. This is from the Stooley's Clubhouse Twitter space.
I was just saying, like, I think we should get IT into rough and rowdy, for all the disgruntled,
Let's go.
Wi-Fi employees, baby.
Fight me,
Who do you got
David.
beef with? Yo, I'm down. Let's do this. We just got to get Live Lisa to get me in there.
Let's go. Fuck you and your IT, nerd.
Is that somebody from Barstool or is that just
I'll wear the
Just
glasses
fan.
and let you try to break them, but I don't think you'll get close enough.
Don't bring fucking all business Pete. I'll hurt him too.
All business Pete will be my, ringside guy right there.
Please let him
Take care.
train you. Please let all business Pete train you.
So besides Portnoy, is there any other Barstool employees that you'd like to knock out in rough and rowdy?
Oh no, I think not yet. I think all of them been great. We're there to help. But anybody that has any frustration, can feel free
come get
to
it.
try to come and punch them out on me. I don't think they'll get close.
I'll eat your ass, buddy. I'll eat your fucking ass.
I'll eat your ass. Hey,
How big are you,
turn it to
David?
out and about. We got an episode with Joey Camassa over here.
He sounds like
How was he said eat?
do a little.
185.
Well, listen, what can I tell you? You'll find out if you try to punch it.
So this guy says he's 5'11", 260.
And was upset that Dave called him half 5'11", 260.
Yeah, in your bra.
Now, okay, this is exactly it's perfect timing because this is exactly what Dave talked about on this show and on the rundown, and what has kind of been the general. There's a lot of burning questions, big questions that now that this has all happened, the repurchase. But the main one for Dave is who can I fuck with? Who can I treat like I normally treat? What rules do I have to follow? A lot of rules went out the window, but as he put it, there are still general rules of civilization that you have to follow. So can I call people fat? Can I call people incompetent, stupid, all this shit? Case in point, day 2, we've got this guy who took umbrage with the fat comment and is saying.
And then went on and
saying
said,
he
"I'm
wants to-
5'11", 260."
Right.
It's tough to
Scientifically fat.
morbidly obese, probably.
Yeah, backed by science.
Now, since all of this has happened, the Rough and Rowdy Open Challenge and all this shit talk, I was told that somebody went to talk to Pete. Was it you?
I just bumped it through the hallway.
The he's done thing?
Yes.
So, yeah, they went to Pete and they said, what's the deal with David Walsh, third floor David Walsh? Is he cool? Is this serious? Is he going to sue us? Is he crazy? Do we have to worry? And Pete just said, he's done. I was like, oh, what does that mean? He's done.
He killed him.
Just two to the head. Like, he's done tweeting. He's done. This is over. He's not coming on radio. He's not going to fight in Rough and Rowdy. He's done. As much as Pete, should just be working on the goddamn radio, internet and all the other things fucking Pete should be doing, I think I actually would take him pretty serious when it comes to running his gang.
I took him very serious.
That if he went to one of his...
Yes, sir. And walked
if
away.
Pete went to one of his guys and said, shut the fuck up, I think they go, I'm shutting the fuck up. Which is, probably for the best because, like we said, we don't know. I don't want anybody burning down the office right away. However, there was one person contemplating accepting a Rough and Rowdy challenge. He's one of the 4 people sitting here.
Fights.
No, here's the thing. Because I was thinking before I talked to Pete, I was like, if this guy comes into this studio and starts doing his Rough and Rowdy nonsense, I said, I forgot. I was talking to Erica about it. I was like, not about it. I was talking to Erica and it came up.
You escalated.
And I was like, I'm not going to have some fucking 5'11", 260 guy sit right here and be like, I'll fight you in Rough and Rowdy. And
not talking.
I'm not going to be like, no. But what it feels like he's doing is what some people do when they come here. And they're here for a fucking week and they realize they want to be content. And I do not like those people.
Right.
I do not. So by agreeing to that fight, you then become...
You give them what they want.
Then they become content and then they can't go anywhere. So maybe I would do it in like 2 years. Like you have to have a window where you're a fireable nothing.
But that's a long time to get strong.
That's
no, but I get it.
You can't just do Rough and Rowdy right away because
you haven't earned it. You actually don't
basically
deserve
everyone
it.
who's fought in Rough and Rowdy either left of their own accord or legally can't be spoken about.
I did it because I needed the money.
People think that it was for the gay community and pride.
Oh.
No, cash rules,
That's for
baby.
my fucking Campus Edge checking account. That's what that was for.
I mean, 5'11", 260 is a big fella. I have full confidence that my boy fights would make quick work of third.
Mind you, all of this didn't happen. So this was just preparation, like you were saying, like, what if this happened? What if this happens?
Play out the combo.
I was just playing out the day in my head, and I was like, if this is before I didn't know he could come on Rough and Rowdy. I was like, if this dude comes in here and is like, I'll fight anyone Rough and Rowdy, someone's gonna have to fight this guy. But
I love how we were sitting on before the rundown. Gaz got wind of it, and he came over to you.
Yeah,
he was like, "Heard she might be tuning someone up." I was like,
well, Gaz and
Great.
Feidelberg forever have their twin flames. They have the connection of the Florida State fight.
No, Miami.
Or a Miami fight. Of course, you wouldn't fight on your home turf.
No, and also it's I think people get it's Miami, Ohio.
Miami, Ohio. Okay,
University of
definitely.
Miami.
Yeah, that was when you guys fought like an entire frat house and sorority house, I think. So anyway, this is all to say I don't want to tease and then be a letdown here, but I was wondering if we were going to get him on the show and was there going to be a Rough and Rowdy, but according to his daddy, Pete, he's done. So we will see if we ever hear from him again. I think also we're just, right now, important people are talking. We don't need we don't need to hear from third floor David Walsh right now unless he's going to, be, like you said, worthy of a Rough and Rowdy fight. So,
And
I don't know. Go back.
If you're mad about it, tweet at Pete, not us.
And there is
Unless he's actually dangerous.
if he comes in here with a butcher knife, get him on the show.
as it currently stands, he's probably the least worthy of any person here.
Just
Oh
in
my
general,
God.
least worthy.
I mean, he's been here for like 3 months and he's fucking a weirdo.
Smitty was the focus of a lot of shit yesterday. Has always really been in the crosshairs for quite a long time. I don't know if he's in or wants to come in. I heard he called into Pick Central or went on Pick Central.
He was here. He was on.
He was on Pick Central and was very upset.
Real life mad.
Yeah. I did hear, and I think he'll talk about it. I'll leave it up to him if he wants to say it on this show.
Baseball
Why is he
bat.
coming in?
Oh no.
Here we go.
General Smitty.
He's not here, Smitty. He's not here.
We thought David Collins was David whatever is gonna shoot up the office, but it might be Smitty. That's the real baseball. That's the old school baseball bat too. That's the one.
Dad's here.
Yeah, Kev, remember when we moved to New York and everyone kind of like pretended to like me here, and I got you guys all these baseball bats? Like,
I don't pretend to like you. I like you, Smitty. I know that I've heard that there is some real life shit and some serious shit that
if anybody cared to reach out before, blast and everything, that'd be nice. But
well, I know this is what we do here, though, so I get it. I know that there's a lot of that real life stuff, and I, for sure, more than anybody, can sympathize with that. So I don't, if you want to talk about that, you can. I don't want to speak. Yeah. So Dave has been, going in on you. Did you talk with him afterwards, or was there any?
No, I was going to talk to him today to explain everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
Because we texted back when I'll say the text.
I do like you, Smitty, by the way.
Thank you. I like you too, Kev. He texted me in Dave's style yesterday at
Everyone likes Tommy, right?
10:17 a.m. What do you do here? You wrote 7 bugs all of July. I said I had a second kid on May 29th and was on paternity leave up until recently. Obviously, we'll be blogging more. Okay, first of all, there was zero dictation the past 3 years under Penn for a lot of us on what to actually do. I was promoting the sports book. I was doing all in on Penn stuff because
you did I saw a lot of baseball parlay bets and shit that you made.
Dave never talked to me. He said, I don't want to talk to you. He's officially my manager. I did stuff for Penn. If Jack came up to me and was just like, hey, can you go to Pittsburgh this week, promote this? Or do you want to go to Detroit this week, do that? Always yes, because Penn was my contract extension, essentially, which I got at the end of last year. Dave approved it, and I'm here for 3 more years or whatever. Mm-hmm. Had a kid on May 29th and was on paternity leave until recently. We'll be blogging more, but things have been going on, blah, blah, blah. Are you still on paternity leave? Not technically, but be honest, I probably should be. I was offered 16 weeks by Penn, and I said I only needed 4 to 6. Penn doesn't own Barstool anymore. I do, and I expect people to earn their salaries. It's I get that. And that's where I replied. I'm like, hey, I get that 100%. We can talk tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. I can't control, A, when my kid's born, and B, what Penn offered and what I took for paternity leave. I can't go back in time just... There's two. And yesterday, it's like I took 16 weeks of maternity leave. I didn't say that. I didn't say that whatsoever. But Dave's the boss. He can do whatever he wants.
I think Dave
characterized all of our lives.
Dave characterized that as you being like, by the way, I could have taken 16, but I only took 4.
100%. Yeah. That's exactly what I said.
Right. But I
thought Dave put that through.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying I think that comes across as I'm doing you a favor by coming in, bud.
No, absolutely not. That could explain the situation of where I'm at in life.
What we said before, I don't know if you heard, is by now, Dave Portnoy is never going to sympathize with you or anybody on anything. So he's going to be like, I don't give a fuck what Penn offered you or what you did take or didn't take. He would, throw his baby out in the fucking garbage and come to work the next day.
I don't think he came off like I'm doing you a favor. I don't think him saying I took 4 instead of 16 was fuck you.
If anything, I was scared to death to take anything more because I knew if I took 16 weeks, I might as well just not show up.
I think that's what Dave thought. I think that it was he thought of it as I could have taken 16.
I didn't think he thought that either.
Oh, well, all right. Maybe I misread it, but that's in my mind of Dave. I think, that sounds like an excuse or a, by the way, it could have been, this, but I'm actually doing a good thing. So at this point, I mean, your history with Dave is a long storied one. And I mean,
can I straighten up one thing that you said yesterday?
Yeah,
I don't give
that's why we're doing it.
Fuck about Showergate. I don't give a shit about that. And I've told him this 1,000,001 times. I don't care that you film me in the shower. If he or Austin or anybody wants to go back to that night, I flipped out because I went downstairs. Rhea and Hank were there. and said, Dave, put your shit on the internet or put your dick on the internet. I flipped out. It's Patriots, Eagles. We were at war. I flipped out. Every day after that, I didn't bring it up once. I did not bring it up once. I had the New York Post, New York Times, the chick he threatened to make out with from Deadspin, all in my DMs and on Gmail, and I told them all to go fuck themselves because I wasn't saying a single thing, and he's bringing up Showergate 10 years later like it's some sort of like big thing. I don't give a fuck, Dave, that you film me in the shower. Is that clear enough? Is that clear enough?
I think it's pretty clear, yeah.
I remember...
Like, he just brings up stuff. He brings up, like, I fell asleep in the Fortnite room, like, 5 years ago. That did not happen. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. I was up all night playing Fortnite, in which John Feidelberg can attest to. All night streams kind of suck. I did that multiple times when I was streaming. Multiple times.
But didn't you stop in the one...
I stopped because the servers went down. The Fortnite servers went down, and we're just sitting there with our dick in our hands. Like, okay, I guess that's it.
Different story. Didn't know that. I always
and it's
thought
just,
it was
it's like this. And Dave Portnoy doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. But there's a lot of revisionist history when it comes to me. Some of it's true. Some of it's bad. Some of it is just like a little out there. And I appreciate Dave. I love Dave. I'm thankful for the opportunity that he has given me and will continue to fulfill my contract. But Jesus Christ, especially when I have a family and I'm trying to explain to him like what's going on. To weaponize social media against me like that, whether he meant to or not, it sucked, and it sucks for my family.
I know, and
it just sucks.
But that's also where like it's gonna be that way.
I know, and that's what I signed up for when I started working here in 2011. I don't know if I can do it after my contract.
I think it's tough. Wait, what do you mean after this contract?
After this contract?
Yeah, you're out.
I don't know. I'm gonna have that discussion with my family.
Yeah,
like I just don't know.
I would say
it's not just me. You can batter me all you want, but when it overflows to how like my postpartum wife has to deal with all this shit.
Yeah,
and like my kids who thankfully aren't old enough to like.
But I mean, I get that there's collateral damage. He's not saying anything about your wife and kids though.
No, not personally. No,
but I know the internet will. But
I'm just over and like.
No, and
other things happen, which I'm not going to say on air, though, that people did, and just...
Yeah, no, I mean, everybody should always leave family and kids out of it. If you're a fan on the internet, whether it's Smitty, Barstool, whatever, people who, like, do fucked up shit on, find people, dox people, send messages, all that shit.
And also, to clear something up, I live 2.5 hours away. I live outside of Philadelphia, where you used to live, Kevin, for a couple of years. Malvern, Pennsylvania. I moved there consensually, approvable, in 2020, and I've been up here pretty regularly ever since. I live basically a half hour closer than Jeff Nadeau, who never fucking came up here.
I know, but see, but
here's no. I'm saying this. I have been up here since 2020 pretty regularly, 3 to 4 times a week, up until late in the pregnancy this year. And up until now, I fully intend to be coming back up to 3 to 4 times a week afterwards. But I do not live 5 minutes away. So if something happens at home where I need to go to an appointment or some shit at 11 o'clock, I can't make it in that day.
But okay, so this is the point. I think this is Dave's point. I get that. I sympathize with that. But that is a choice you made to live far away from your job.
I know. I made that choice. I made that choice, which was approved in 2020 when I was streaming and there was radio and there was a difference. And now 3 years later,
but there's also a difference between approved and is this good for your career? You made a work-life choice, and I get it. Trust me,
it was good when we had a sports book and had a Philly bar opening and everything's good. Now things have changed, and I need to make that decision again.
True, and maybe it is a fluid thing, but I think his point is that it's always like something, and it's like I don't think he cares that you're like, I had to move to Malvern for my family. He's like, whatever, man. I don't know. I don't have a family. I live where I need to work or whatever. His point of view is that is neither here nor there because you just need to do more work.
That's fine.
Having a kid.
Can I ask are we getting yelled at right now?
Probably.
I feel like when you're like, no one reached out. What were we supposed to reach out about? Like before you said,
I'm not saying you guys.
Okay.
Maybe if you were discussing it yesterday and like want to be like, hey, what's going on? Maybe, but
I mean, Dave came in and Dave comes on the radio and talks.
I like mad at like Tommy or anything.
I think it's exceptionally
I was mad at you
shitty timing to have you had a kid and everyone's on leave in the middle of this like transition is, wildly bad luck. It's almost as bad as Rico going on 3 vacations in a row in the middle of the biggest day of Barstool history. But it's just, I don't think it's ever going to be a different dynamic. I also don't think there's ever going to be an excuse or a reason that Dave Portnoy, for you or anybody else, goes, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I take it back.
No,
it's just never.
Right.
But so then why do you even try? Why don't you just be like, you're right. I'm going to do better. I'll do more. And then whether or not you do or don't, I don't even fucking care. But like,
I absolutely saying I'm going to do that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when the situation dictated an explanation yesterday in which he got, and I thought we were at least going to talk about, or he understood, and it blew up the way it did, and I got weaponized, but spilled over into other stuff. Like it's a tough 24 hours. I'll get over it. I'll be fine, and we'll get back to normal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know better than anybody else when it's like I can keep it in between the walls. I can do it all here. When it starts to affect other people, and there's no, he doesn't care. He doesn't live that life. He doesn't know or sympathize with it. It's like sometimes that can get like, fuck, there's more at stake than how many blogs I wrote or whatever. But in his world, there isn't. He doesn't care about, as callous as it sounds, he doesn't care about your wife or kids, or even if there's issues, and he just doesn't. So it's like,
and everything's cyclical. Nobody gave a shit about the blog for 3 years, and now it's back because Dave's back, and that's an official requirement now. We're getting blogger expectations.
I also
look,
think
CBS is back.
That's not like Dave's fault that no one cared about the blog. Like I don't think anyone cared about the blog 8 years ago.
No, I meant internally.
No, I know.
It's not. That's not a disrespect to Nate, Hubbs, Clem, Coley, or K. Marco. I think they all did good jobs.
I don't think 8 years ago.
We were not directed to.
It wasn't like I don't think I ever got an email. You didn't write enough blogs this month.
Oh no. Well, we were also blogging 10 blogs a day.
That's what I'm saying. That wasn't like.
But
we weren't made to.
We did.
So no one was making us 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, however.
But that was our jobs.
Right.
Now our jobs, like every one of us has a different job here.
Right. I mean,
a lot of my job was promoting the fucking sports book, and I didn't get a heads up.
Yeah. I think when you went from writing 10 blogs a day to not, like, there's a lot of people who promote the sports book or do a stream here or there, but you got to have like a consistent output. That if you went from 10 blogs a day to 7 blogs a month, and there's not, a video series, podcast, whatever, radio show, whatever.
Yeah, just paternity leave.
But, again, I'm all for paternity leave and families and stuff, but you make a choice between family and work, and one of them suffers, and when work suffers, your boss is not going to be happy. It's honestly, is it fair? No. I fucking lost, I had a failed marriage, like largely because of it. But so I know better than anybody. But should it be that you can go away and everything goes fine and you come right back and it's all good? I don't know how realistic that is in any situation. But even that aside, I think it's more. I think even before the paternity leave and just throughout the years, it's been. I know you've tried and there's been effort, but I think he doesn't. He wants results and. More importantly, I don't think he's just ever going to care about any of the other shit. So I don't know, the Feidelberg, we call it the Feidelberg of just being like, you're right, I'm wrong, you're smart, I'm dumb, you're big, I'm little. It probably would be the safer approach.
Oh, no, I'll be here blogging.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all.
Portnoy's always right.
This is true.
There it is. Step one.
That's the clip.
Step one.
That's the clip.
There it is. Yeah, we'll send that to him.
How can you fight a man who just got a $500 million company for $1?
Yeah, I mean, dude, you know me. I mean, I've butted heads with him more than anybody. And I said there was a moment as a Jets fan when Tom Brady, I think, was Deflategate maybe, or when he finally, maybe it was the Malcolm Butler interception, whatever it was. I remember being like, I give up. I can't spin this anymore. I can't knock him anymore. I can't say that he cheated. I can't say that Peyton Manning's better than him. He's just the GOAT. And then it happened with fucking Dave as well, where it got to the point where it's just like, I mean, I never thought it was, when we were rivals, it was always like he was, a million levels ahead of me. But we used to butt heads, and I used to be like, no, I'm this and you're that. And eventually it was just like, you got it, you're top.
That's a big point of contention I used to have. We used to do that as well, and it used to be civilized. And then it got to a point, like when we're sitting here, for 5 years, I haven't come at him. 5 years. I'm not even coming at him now. Like, I love Dave. I'm very grateful.
You came in here slamming
with a bat.
It's not coming at him.
Let's put the bat down. I think we don't feel a little more comfortable with the bat one down.
No, absolutely not. This is the only thing I found. This is the only thing I found from my desk. Everything else is thrown out.
Oh yeah, Joey apologizes for that. He threw out all your stuff.
It used to be that way, and I thought that was fine. And then one day, like 5 years ago, I guess it was Showergate, it just flipped where anytime I would come at him, anything, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles. Yesterday or 2 days ago, he was talking about Justin Steele. What would you rather have, more wins or less ERA? And Justin Steele's like, less ERA, and Dave's talking about wins. And I'm thinking to myself, you're a fucking idiot. You're absolutely wrong in this argument, but I'm not going to speak up because with me, if I go against him and have any sort of civilized argument some sort of way, it automatically raises to, oh, well, my livelihood is over your head. Like he holds my livelihood over my head.
But bro,
I know that's what it is.
I 20 years of that.
Yeah, I know. I know, but that's why I don't engage with him like that anymore.
Do you think if you did more of what he asked from like a blogging standpoint, that would go down from Dave? Like if you blogged more, would he hold that over your head less, or do you think he would continue to do it?
Maybe not. I'm going to be blogging more because now it's more of
my
job.
As one of the guys, we used to do like 10, 12, 15 blogs a day.
CBS is back.
To then do 7 a month, it's almost like I can't even fathom it, but it's like that's a big change if you're not doing other stuff at that same time, And
if that was the directive from my boss to do,
but we never. Barstool's never been a here's your assignment place.
My boss was Dave. I didn't hear from him for 3 years, and I got a contract extension. And Penn was asking me to do stuff, and I was doing stuff for them. I would 7 blogs. Yeah, I'd still throw up a blog here and there, but obviously that wasn't a priority to me. Obviously, Penn was my priority. And now,
but what does that mean? Like social media posts, or what were you doing for Penn?
Anything. Pick Central, going to this, going to that, promoting.
Yeah, I just think that's part of what a lot of people do, and then you have to have something else that is
no shit. So if Penn goes under, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't go under.
No, it didn't go under. Penn and Barstool were no more.
Amicably.
Yes. So
No, I mean, I'll be fine. I'll figure it out whether I'm here or not after 3 years, or I'm here or not before then. I'll figure it out. I'll be fine. I'm a big boy. I can take it. It's just when things seemingly out of my control get exasperated, like yesterday, and it spills over to home. That's tough for me to do.
Brother.
Stuff that could be avoided.
I know that game well, man. I tell people flat out, and maybe it's because I have not been in great relationship situations, and the blog was different at that point. But if you do better at Barstool, it's worse at home, and when you do more at home, it's worse at Barstool, and that's probably a lot of jobs, but it's very heightened here. It just ain't. There's no fucking way around it, man. And it is brutal, but it's just it's the gig. It's a young man's game. Blogging is a young man's game, dude.
Oh, it's 100% true.
And to reiterate, anybody who attacks family members and bothers people and takes it beyond that is a fucking loser. So I hope everything's all right at home, and I hope that stops. But as far as the Dave stuff goes, also at this point, it's I think it's almost, I would run with this as your thing with Dave almost.
Oh, it's apparently my only value.
It's like Dog and Dave. He's, Yeah. What about Nate? Why don't you do, I know you guys used to have your thing, and then you stopped, and then you were friendly. Smitty, if there was ever a time to revive Smitty and Nate.
Nate and I are on very good terms now.
That might be the problem. Why don't you go fucking hit him with that bat?
Just go crack him over the head.
I have one more content driven game in me, which I think could be a big thing that Nate would be involved in.
Okay.
Any hints? as to what it is?
It's poker involved.
Poker, yeah.
Yeah.
That's always been a a hole, and like
Yeah.
and I thought was going to be more of it with Penn, just from
Well, no,
top games.
this is
and then-
actually good because Penn wasn't big in like didn't have big card rooms.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't do it online.
Okay, so now maybe
So
you guys
now
are a
for
little more
free
free.
to
Yeah.
do stuff.
All right. Well, good. Get on that because I do think poker is a actual, viable avenue. So see what happens.
And that just whipping boy, get whipped with this bat.
It is not. It is not fun when you are in the blender.
And I'll put it out there again. I love Dave. I have no problems with him personally. I thank him for everything. There you go, Dave. Thank you. And if you want me to admit I'm the charity case, I'm a charity case. Sure, Dave. I admit it. I'm a charity case. There you go. Quote it.
All right. As far when you are in the blender, it is not a fun time. The other guy who has been just crushed in this return has been. You all right?
That bat was getting close.
When he put the headphones on when he was coming in, oh my
Slamming the
god,
bat
Barstool
down.
Radio is so fucking back.
it's good. I'm not gonna lie, this was tough for me to keep my mouth shut. This is good. I'm happy. Yeah.
You are still blogging, like,
Yeah, I
Daily?
know. Yes, I am blogging daily.
Why do you laugh at that?
Because I already know where this is going. Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Just wedging in the blog, right?
Yeah, no, I do. I've been blogging. We got an emphasis was recently put on the blog. I took not time off, but I definitely slowed down my output once I realized, like, right, there's something going with Out and About here.
Yeah.
So I could focus on that. But now I'm like fully back into blogging.
And so Pat out there trying to get them page views, and he put up a blog about Theo Vaughn.
I tried to.
Tried to put up a blog about Theo Vaughn. It was vetoed
Correct.
by the dog.
No.
I haven't had a dog veto in
What's the blog?
years. It was Theo Vaughn had done an interview with Ric Flair, which I thought A, our people would love, B, I found super fucking interesting, and C, like it was like a banger of a blog. Like the thumbnail was good, like the title was a little long, but it was great. So I thought to put this blog up. Nate thought otherwise.
Nate
Obviously, I went ballistic in a text message, and then I calmed down.
Vetoed, he like scolded.
What is the blog about?
It was saying how much I liked the interview, but I can't because Theo is apparently a competitor of ours.
We are talking. Nate wants to know if we're talking.
Yeah,
about
Nate.
him. We are talking about him. Pat is.
Nate said, Nate was like, why would you ever give views to our competitors?
Correct.
And I don't know if
We're talking about
Nate coming on? That's kind of crazy.
We're talking about
I
Theo.
can't imagine thinking of Theo Vaughn as a Barstool competitor.
Well,
for like a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
We're talking about the
We're talking
Theo
about
Vaughn
spike
blog.
blogs.
Oh, God, Peg, you're such a con. This is such a non-issue.
Well, it could have. You made it an issue.
I said you make the call. You made the
doing the
makes
dog.
calls. I say Nate, you make the call. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I didn't.
New
agree
thing
with
is
it.
we read any spike blog on live on air.
Ooh.
It's not going to be. Can we listen to it? Because it was mostly clips.
Barstool Radio, it's Theo Vaughn show.
Yeah.
Best of Theo.
I didn't make it a thing. We were talking about the blog.
made it a thing.
And then that was
this
it.
is what his little shit-eating grin before I see.
Yeah.
So what happened?
It's a non-issue.
What happened?
Let's read the text.
He did a what's it called? Like a puff piece about Theo Vaughn, and none of the clips in it were viral. And
Yeah,
it was
I
just,
guarantee in a
I've
day they're going to be
actually-
viral. I
and
guarantee.
I've seen
kind of
clips of this.
It's kind of like what we were talking about. It's like we don't even blog our own podcast. Why do we blog everybody else's podcast?
So that's what Nate said. Why did you blog the Theo Vaughn podcast?
Wow, you're just sending texts. Pat, you are a
You
fucking
don't even
snake
blog
piece
your
of
own
shit,
podcast.
huh?
I thought it was Barstool Radio.
You don't even blog your own podcast. And Pat said because it was a great interview that I found interesting and people would like. And yes, I do blog my pod when I think it's something our readers would click. Nate, I don't see any reason to post a blog promoting another company's podcast. None of those clips are viral. You're just sending our people to a competitor's podcast. Pat says Theo Vaughn is a friend of Barstool, and that interview doesn't compete with any of our podcasts because we don't have a wrestling podcast. Nate says, I'm not arguing this. And I could just see him. I'm not arguing this. And Pat said, it's true. We've blogged other people's pods before. It doesn't hurt us. If anything, Theo would see it, want to do more Barstool content with us, which could help. Nate says, you can try and spin this all you want. I'm not arguing this. We aren't doing blatant promotion for a competitor's podcast without any of the clips being viral. Pat said he has 700,000 views in like a day. And he said, your call, throw it in drafts.
My thing is this. I think
that's all pretty fair.
If you write a blog and you spend time on it and it doesn't go up, it's
very
infuriating. Again, do I ultimately care? No. It's Nate's call at the end of the day. But I do stand by the fact that A, Theo is a friend of Barstool, and B, this will go viral, and C, people like Ric Flair and people like Theo Von. The only show that this could possibly like maybe compete with, the only person who would have Ric Flair even on would have been wrestling, which doesn't exist, or B, Pardon My Take, which I think he did a while ago.
I think Bob Fox would be all for it.
Yeah.
He does wrestling, but I think he'd be cool with it.
So I don't know.
I just don't get the idea of like you think Theo is a competitor?
Yeah, I mean, when you send someone to someone else's 3-hour podcast, that's 3 fewer hours they're listening to any of our stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think of it.
But this isn't like me creating this out of thin air.
I think
like this is
no,
like
because
this is
I
talks
think
me.
if anything, you should want page views right now. So if I go listen to a Theo Von podcast, but I read a Barstool blog for the first time in forever because I clicked on it, you should be happy.
I think that if you want to go down that road, I think time is a competitor of Barstool. So why would you recommend a movie?
Why would you blog anybody? Why would you ever put any influencer on?
I don't think so. Theo doesn't have Theo's been on every show here.
Ronnie Ball's be in trouble for going on Theo Von's podcast.
This is, this is like not something I created out of thin air. It's like discussions that have.
No, I know that Dave used to get mad about that.
The fact that we're even talking about this is kind of.
We were talking about the blog, and
no, I think it's completely valid. I think we're also in a totally different spot when it was like, don't like blog a bro Bible post. Like if
I see it exactly like that.
That's insane.
Okay.
So then, if that's the reason, we don't do Joe Rogan anymore, but there were like 6,000 Joe Rogan blogs for a little.
So that's when they employed that guy to like transcribe our own podcast because nobody was like blogging their own podcast in that way. So we were like paying someone to do that, and we were like promoting our own podcast, and then like we let that guy go, and then people stopped promoting our own podcast.
If somebody does a big interview and like there's quotes from it or like a good clip, you think we just shouldn't post that because that's sending someone to that person's content?
I think it's like a feeling out thing. I didn't think this one was necessary.
I think the way that I had titled it, like as if it was a blog within Barstool that we were promoting. So it was like he talked about this and this and this. And what I probably could have done, to Nate's point, is narrow it down a little more and have more of a take, which would have made more sense. So when to be like Ric Flair talking about doing blow with whatever, that would have been.
Theo Von's podcast says blah blah blah.
Yeah, that would have been fine. But
there's a common ground. I think that
yeah, like the title was like
episode 339 of the.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
No, so that's exactly how.
I'm not going to watch a 2-hour Theo Von podcast.
I want to watch a clip. Yeah.
No, it's interesting. It's like the stuff that we talk to like our bosses about every day. It's like stuff like this, and this one was just blatant. Go watch Theo Von's podcast, but none of the clips were just like taking the internet by storm, and it just.
I guarantee.
I actually because I don't like. I'm not really a person who would see clips a lot, and I guess it's probably just.
Wait, can you put that back up? I want to see the title. Ric Flair gives an incredible interview to Theo Von about the heyday of wrestling, gas station boner. See, I actually think Theo is a draw. I think that's like
Theo's a huge draw.
That is a wordy title. You're right. Like it's
very
not the like most eloquent. But if you're talking about like search engine shit and page views and all the stuff that you probably should be, Ric Flair, Theo Von, wrestling, boner, WWE, drugs, like those are all things that I think people will click on.
I got like hard at the clips. I was like, this is gonna fucking do it, because maybe you guys know, maybe you don't. We have like quotas now. So now there's like more pressure on, like if you write a blog, it's like that blog and it doesn't go up, it's like, yeah, that's one I didn't get up. Right. But this is, I will say this is like, it's so funny, Large would say he was like a high risk blogger, which is why he can't, because he's a lunatic, which is why he like doesn't post his own stuff. So there is that added responsibility with me. So I was just enraged when I was like sitting in bed. I was like, what do you
publish?
mean?
I didn't know you should have talked to me. I didn't know you're just.
But I didn't think it was anything. I thought
you press publish and then he took it down?
No, I schedule.
Okay.
Because I just don't write about like risky shit. I'll see someone like fall on a surfboard and be like, "Oh, this is funny." It's not like I'm giving like the hottest fucking takes here. I'm looking for like, here's some page views, like
do you schedule
drive traffic.
Your own time, or you have to ask somebody what time to put it up?
There's like a formula that these guys have in place where it's
Right.
like you kind of know where to put things.
Right.
And certain
So you
blogs go up at
scheduled
certain
11
times.
a.m. and then all of a sudden you saw it as a draft or whatever?
No, Nate
He just
texted
texted
me.
right away.
Yeah, Nate texted me.
Okay. And then,
But
so it never made it up?
Never made it up. Yeah.
Why don't we just put it up and see what it does page views wise?
Editor said no. Also, I like.
And then it'll be like, if it gets a lot of views.
I think this segment's going to help.
Well, I mean, hey, we want page views, right?
Who's your person who you like spike the most? Is it still Dante?
Oh yeah.
I don't like the word spike.
Yeah,
I think that's
a Kirk Minahan line.
Yeah, it has not negative connotation about it. I mean,
It has negative connotations about not posting someone's work.
I mean, I
don't like the word.
At this point in my career, if I wrote a blog and I took time on it and it just didn't go up, I would murder someone with my bare hands. Like,
I was
Bro, back in the day, you used to just like sometimes you just hit save and it just wouldn't save.
You've never been mad about it?
I would be like, well, I would refuse to rewrite.
No,
it. I'd be like,
that's
well,
it.
that blog's
No,
not
if
getting
you-
posted.
if
Like,
you-
Yeah, that was years. The save feature.
No, we just. I remember when we had 610 blogging for Rangers and all this shit. They would be like, I write for other websites that are like 1/1,000,000th the size of Barstool. They all have an autosave feature. They have like a safety feature, blah, blah, blah. Barstool was just like, if you clicked refresh, but your internet cut out at the wrong time,
done.
blog on.
Yeah.
And it would be like, you know,
I actually was. I
2,000
wouldn't get
words
murderous
down
about
the
it.
drain.
I would almost find it refreshing. Where I was like, well, I got that out of my system, and no one's gonna tell me to kill myself. So.
It is really about like, it sounds corny, but it's like I've been saying all along during this renaissance, like doing content is about wanting to do it, not about like, am I going to get paid for it? Am I going to get famous of it? It's like, I want to get these thoughts out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not even about like other people reading them. It's literally just get them
I
out.
just gotta get pen to paper.
Because
All
like,
right.
like it just.
I feel better about. This is the first blog I ever wrote that made me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
nobody on the internet. But
Nobody saw it except for me. I think.
It's just like it wasn't.
I think it's just weird. I think it's weird to worry more about this potential leaving the website to go listen to Theo's podcast for 3 hours when you could be 3 hours on the blog versus like a Theo Vaughn fan is going to click on the blog.
My thing is like if you look at stuff that like goes up, that doesn't go up, which is like obvious, like political, like stuff that definitely shouldn't be up, and then you look at like why this wasn't up. It was because we're worried that Theo is going to take away.
I think there's some spite going on here.
You're really grasping here, Kevin.
I really don't think I am. I think this is a very strange thing to text someone like, why would you write this blog about Theo?
I also think it's the way, like, I think this goes back from, like, the K. Marco days where, like, he was such a fucking asshole to people all the time that, like, the way he would talk to people was just so condescending. Yeah. And I think that trickled down to, like...
Have I ever been rude to you?
No,
Yeah,
no, but I'm not. But what I'm saying is, like, instead of being like, hey, this blog isn't going up
Nate,
because
if you ever
of this.
texted me that, I would be like, you're being rude. If you ever said to me like, why did you write that blog that way? I'd be like, shut your fucking mouth.
I think instead of being like, and I don't think it's intentional, but I think instead of like, if someone has a blog that's not going up, being like, hey, I think this would be better this way or
That's
this.
a way more
That's
constructive way
easier
to
to
do it.
palate than being like, why did you? Because
That's
then
like a
it
teacher.
automatically puts the person in the defensive.
Totally.
I think is what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
I think it would be a much better process to be like, if I am not posting your blog, I tell you why, or like, here's what you can do that I think would make it publishable or
I mean,
better.
I'm going to stand up for myself here. You're painting me in a terrible light when I've been so fair to you, Pat.
No, you've been totally
you
fair.
just like compared me to just.
Tommy just got a Grinch smile.
I mean,
I
what
will
is
say this.
happening?
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
I know we're trying to do this radio thing, but come on, Pat.
No, you've been totally fair to me, but I think
this instance, I think is very
Yeah.
fair. I'm not just like
I'd say
stirring the
Nate's-
pot for Barstool.
Nate's
Yeah, but
been
what
fair
about
to
like
me.
the 10,000 other examples when I?
No, I would say Nate's been fair to me 99% of the time.
Yeah.
99.9% of the time. But today there was a blog that didn't go up, which annoyed me. So I think we're allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say you're fair. I'd say you're very fair.
Yes, I agree.
But I've seen. I mean, I do think that was a thing in the past of like, I think when the Chicago guys had a beef with K. Marco, it was because it was like, why are you so fucking dumb or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
like the like power dynamic of the blogging hierarchy, I guess, is for sure a thing, and I don't think it really like should be, and I think that there was a little bit of this and that. I don't. What do you think?
I think that seeing the headline, I don't think there's anything wrong with posting a Theo blog, a Theo clip. Seeing the headline, I was like, that's not a great headline, but like then you can open that up to anything.
Yeah.
I think it's I think this one isn't a massive deal, but I think you should be able to post podcasts.
I would say though, Nate,
if you think something's interesting, I think you should. I mean, like, that's how I used to do it. If I thought anything was interesting, I just posted it. It's interesting.
That's pretty much just like like amalgam of all, you're a conglomerate of all the shit that you like come across on the internet. But I think it's more about for me, my point of view is if I got a text from someone, why would you blog it like that? I'd be like,
it makes you feel
if I thought
dumb.
you were right, I would dig in and be like, shut the fuck up.
But do you guys have that type of relationship where you talk to each other?
No, me and Nate talk to each other for sure. But I also think that like, I just thought it was not a big deal. So it was like, whatever. If I blog something that I think is interesting, I think it should fucking go up. But I just thought it was like, again, like the way that people who like have not Nate, like in particular, Nate is 9.9 times out of 10 great. But I think sometimes people here, when they have a little bit of power, the way that they talk to people can put people in like a defensive.
For sure.
And again, that's not the point of this segment. That's not it at all. The point of this segment is to just say, I wrote this blog and it didn't go up. Let's talk about it.
The point of this segment is to say, stop listening to the show, go listen to Theo's podcast.
Right.
I think, there's I don't know when it really happened. I mean, we got so big that like there was rookies and vets and new and old and all that shit. And it's a game where like a new person can come in and like steal the spotlight, and it's like sports. You know what I mean? It's like you could be a 10-year veteran and the new kid comes in and he's starting over you or whatever. And I think people get very defensive about like their position and their standing and all that. And I think this is the one spot where there is kind of like it's really the only spot where other people on the same level tell you what to do. You know what I mean?
But also like
if Dave or Erica or somebody tells you to do something, whatever. In this case, it's like,
I'll say this about the text. Any text, I think, is a good text. Because Dave used to just say, go fuck yourself in a subject line.
You're no body.
You wouldn't get body. It's just, this blog sucks. Like, fuck me. Okay. Okay.
Bro, I don't know how you did it. I mean, like 99%.
I actually respect
not 99,
it,
but like 50% of blogging is like confidence in like what I'm going to say here, other people will relate to or think is funny. And like, I'm going to put it out there for a lot of people, and I think that's true. And then to just have someone, like one person, who might be wrong even, just be like, nope, this sucks.
Bro, Dave, the meanest
But that's not what happened. I also think Nate has Nate's intention, like Nate's job is literally to just read 1,000 blogs a day and like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, because people write absolutely moronic shit all the time. So it's a difficult thing to do.
What's like the craziest thing someone's tried to get published recently? You don't have to name names, but like
there's the funniest story where it was we were owned by Penn and they have all their regulations and all of that, and something that just happened with Penn. It might have been it was the right after we got an email like they're going to buy the rest of the 70% the next day.
Right.
We had an employee who wanted to put up a gambling blog, but there were no lines for this. It was for an award show, and there were no lines for the award show on the Barstool Sports book. So he used an offshore betting site linked to it and used their lines. And this is the night before, like we had to be.
What award show was it?
The Grammys.
Does his name rhyme with Hante? Does his name rhyme with Hante the mom
and
DJ?
And we had to get like
But okay, that's more like
it was crazy.
Like bonehead like regulatory shit. What's like
we got an email from the lawyer like if that went up everybody would be fired, the site would be fined like $500,000 like per line.
Okay,
put, like
well, what's a like a radioactive like topic that's because of like rules. What's something that like somebody like about like sex or politics or something that you were,
I tried to blog. I will say I tried to do this is actually a good one for Nate. I tried to like do Dylan Mulvaney the other day. He was like, what are you doing? He's like, that's the most divisive.
I think Pat should be allowed to blog about Dylan Mulvaney.
I know, but there was there's no upside.
This is like
to
when
it.
Chaps could blog about fucking the politics because he got shot. Pat got hate crimed for 20 years.
It was, literally. But
it's a hate crime to not let him post about it.
I mean, Kevin, like Gaz shuts down.
But the upside is fucking views. That's the upside, you know?
Like Gaz shuts down some of your 1 minute mans from going on the main, like if they're too politically charged or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. Like I follow
but that's because of Instagram's rules.
I just
We don't
follow
have those rules.
I just follow Gaz's rules. Like it all just goes.
But those are not the same rules. Gaz tells me no because we will be penalized by Instagram and it is not worth it. Whereas in this case, I think you have to make the argument of like the reason I don't blog as much anymore and tweet as much anymore
Because you're too rich.
is I don't think the upside of like I got 500 retweets doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And even to an extent where my career went, like I'm not necessarily concerned with page views. So if I'm going to blog this and I'm going to get a whole bunch of people being like, you're misogynistic or you're racist or whatever because the jokes I made, and all I had to show for it was like 100,000 page views, which is like, what does that do for me? But if I was a blogger or an editor or whatever, and my job was to make this website get clicks, especially now, I think we can start to like factor in more edgy shit and more whatever.
But then it's like, where does like right now I feel like everyone is like drunk on this freedom of we can say what we do, we can like do what
That's
we
what
want.
Dave was saying about
where it's like now the leash is gonna like have to be tightened, like on the blog and like
I don't know
with
if it's
everything
tightened or loosened,
eventually.
though.
I think it's loosened. for
I think
sure.
Dave used to be.
We
wait,
still
you're
have
saying
advertisers.
loosened?
Like
You're saying loosened or tightened?
I think the leash right now has been let out like far. Whether
think
it's
we need to-
like mentally, like people think it's farther than it is or whatever. But I think eventually,
What is like I know we keep saying it. What's an example?
I just think like politics.
I think it's more like people are just like saying it. Like we can say whatever we want,
Right,
but I don't know if anybody is saying it.
Okay, but I think
he tried to blog Theo Vaughn.
People could. I think we basically got to a point where it was like politics is too polarizing. But now I don't know if that matters.
We definitely shouldn't do politics. Still, I think is too crazy to do.
The politics.
Yeah, Dave said no.
Pretty positive.
No one wants to do politics.
We're still trying to like get advertisers and stuff. Like nothing. Nothing. I was told like nothing.
We don't do politics anymore. We're just holding an office-wide election this week.
I don't know. It is interesting. It's like it's still a priority. I think people forgot about like the clicks and the views and reading. There's still people who do that. A lot of people who do that. We want more people to do that. And there are blogs that will get more clicks, but will come at a cost of like reputation. But it's like, do we fucking care about that anymore? I don't know if we do. But this is, I think, what Dave was saying about like we got to find like what are the rules of just like civilization right now? Not what is gambling rules, not what are social media third platform rules. What are just like the rules we want to follow as a company?
Nate's so mad.
So mad. That was so fucking.
Yeah. He's gonna hate you for a long time.
Yeah, we're gonna be in a rut for a while.
I almost need to do a segment on Nate being upset about that segment.
That actually it would be valid. Nate, come back.
Yeah, Nate, come on back. Like that. I mean, that's crazy.
Ow!
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't know why I did that.
What is that?
I took a paper clip and I tore it apart and then I put it here.
How mad are you at Pat?
What do you want? I'm trying to watch the
How mad are you at Pat?
I just didn't know that he's sending text to you to try to drum up this.
That's everyone here is texting everyone at all times.
All
Never
times.
tell
Always
anyone
assume.
anything.
All right.
Never
Always
tell anyone
assume
anything.
that your text message.
I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at.
This is the
Pat.
biggest gossip high school ever. Don't tell anyone anything.
No, I'm not mad at Pat because I think him and I have a good friendship. I don't like that the only time, like I'm in. I come on the radio. It's just to motherfuck me. It's not. It's like.
Bro, no one's gonna be like, you did a great job today, Nate. Come on and talk about all the blogs.
No, yeah, I think it was an interesting.
I think I do a good job at my job, and I keep us from being sued daily. John Rich is mad at me too because I called him a cunt this morning.
Oh, I was gonna say John can give him that. Is that my?
I was mad at John.
I feel like John Rich is about to defend
John Rich,
me
jump
in an
in.
effort to.
No, I'm not about to defend you.
No, he's mad at me because I called him a cunt this morning.
Like a true. Like,
I was mad. I woke up grumpy. Who amongst us hasn't woken up grumpy and called John?
I'm actually not mad.
Imagine waking up grumpy and then having
before
a
you tell
blog
your story.
spiked.
The thing about Nate is he gets grumpy. Like you get moody, and that's like it's like dealing with a chick where it's like, oh boy, the dog's in a bad mood, so you're clear. That is like you're gonna get in a lot of fucking. You're gonna get on Barstool Radio. A lot of you getting moods. I've never been in a mood in my life.
Welcome to my life. Yeah.
Oh, well, then you can't complain about it though. If you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be in a mood and I'm going to call people cunts, and then be like, why did somebody talk about it?
No. I'm just saying it gets frustrating where it's just like, oh no, I do a good job too, but then I've just like,
Bro,
yes,
like,
bro, tell me
where is people who celebrated here?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we're changing it. We're all.
Well, if Kelly Keys gets appointed, maybe you'll.
Yeah, maybe.
In what world, in every line of work, you could do a great job and do your job every day, and then you call a coworker a cunt, and it all gets erased. I promise you that.
I thought we brought it back. I didn't. Such a lib show.
That was the best. What was it, like 2012? Dave being like, "Cunt's back."
No way, dude. That was way later.
No,
later.
it was
Vernon had bought us, I think.
No,
Was it right before?
It was 2015, I would say.
2015.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, John, what's your?
Okay, well, we're talking about Nate's editing, and I do think you do a very good job. You have a very thankless job.
no. Here we go.
Did you guys know that Nate will add his own
resign.
punchlines into our blog?
No, I don't.
I did know that because he did it to me recently.
That's not. I think I will have very many I'll have Francis back me up on that.
I added what Tommy told me to add to your blog because it was the.
Yeah,
blog.
But you've done it. But you have done it to me before.
Why is Tommy Smokes telling Nate to edit a John Rick
He was blogging.
What is that?
He was blogging about my fight video. So he was just like,
that's a little bit legit.
Okay, but I also ran the blog by you, and you told me it was good.
yeah, but then Nate was like, what about this?
So then Nate read my blog and
as my job,
and he pitched some of.
That's some Tommy Smokes snake shit too. He didn't want to say it to your face, so he said it to a third party.
Yeah. No, he.
No, you can't stop saying no because you did it to me. I forgot all about that.
And I
think you do a great.
I said if anybody ever.
I'm just saying that's a bad example.
No, that's a bad example, but he's done it before. And Nate, I think you do a great job, but that's an insane thing to do. You realize that, right? That's insane to add your own
I've done it
punchline.
probably 4 times total in.
You added one to a
did it to
Francis blog. That's
John Feidelberg.
What?
And you've done it to
Feidelberg.
I don't remember that.
I remember it vividly. It was.
That just has to stop.
It was my blog about how 9/11 changed the world, and it was
a bold take from John Feidelberg.
That was like a Wednesday morning, like random.
It was a great blog. Yeah. It was, and I just had a line. It was just like I think I described the morning of 9/11 as when you got excited for a second, which I did because the teacher was rolling a TV into the classroom, and I was like, oh fuck yeah, and it was to watch the news and not a movie. But I just mentioned the TV coming in, and Nate said, and you added, and you thought you were gonna watch Shrek, and I was like, I didn't say that.
Yeah, and that's.
I just want to barge in.
Meek Phil just.
I want to barge in and take the mic as a aggressor. Vote for Meek Phil, not this loser over here.
That I remember that specific line because I was like, that's not worth it. Like if I somehow thought I had just the funniest fucking joke and John hadn't thought of it and I was an editor and I was just like, real quick, I'm just gonna like put the icing on the cake.
But you gotta ask.
But yeah, you gotta.
Like I take time with my blogs and stuff. Like they're not all great, and then like to see that I have like 2 Nate jokes.
Yeah, that's
blog,
fucking.
That is infuriating.
It is.
Like that has to.
I'll stand by you on that.
I'm not okay with that.
I'll stand by you.
I am okay with the intention behind it. He's not trying to.
Honestly, and if he would have asked me, I'd probably say yeah, like that might be good. But to just like sneak in,
that is fucked.
Sorry, I've been thinking that for a while. I had to bring it up.
I think it's crazy for you. I think it's insane for him to do it to John. You're newer, at least. Like he shouldn't do it to anybody, but like that's fucking nuts to touch another like made man. Like,
I remember I was so back. So I was like, I never even watched Shrek in school. Why would I go?
Yeah, I don't even know what the timeline adds up.
Just Shrek in school. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, the lines like that can like make or break a blog where it's like, oh, we did used to watch XYZ movie, or if people are at home going like, we watch Shrek. Like if you said like Reading Rainbow or something, like whatever, like triggered like a memory and they're like, oh wow. But to be like, just throw that line in there is kind of crazy. Nate's gonna be.
Should we bring Nate back to see how mad he's about that?
That would be amazing. That would be fucking amazing.
The second I sent you those texts, I was like, yeah, no, I hope he does. And then I tried to downplay it. I was like, well, if you know, I was like,
that actually, I don't know.
I was like, well, if you need, I was like, if you're grasping for a topic, what was this?
That was.
Oh boy.
Pat in the moment going like, no, Nate is great. Nate is great. I was like, oh, we are backpedaling.
I could see the meltdown happening.
John Rich helped you a lot there, I think.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, that's well, because he will put him in the crosshairs way easier and more happily than you. Like,
oh,
he can
absolutely.
move on from you,
yeah.
You know? But the dog will be out for another like week now on this one. He'll be.
While we're,
by the way, this is Barstool Radio. Everybody wanted it back, and I was like, do you remember how everybody was like like losing
I don't
their
think
minds.
I don't think any of that's bad. I don't
No,
think
but
it's
Nate is
like,
gonna think.
yeah,
Nate's gonna
but like
think it's the end of the
that's
world.
I think that was.
This is
I think you led to
peanuts
some
compared
interesting
to-
topics. I
Bro,
think
that
it's-
was that you should publish that blog now. It will get more views. It will
can't.
be like that. This is good for business, but it will be a whole thing for Nate for sure. Just discussing the 20th anniversary. We went through you and Kyrie. Went through Darren Rovell saying you took an L, and then
Darren Rovell's a fucking idiot.
yeah, yep, that was our
That was
consensus.
our
But go
takeaway,
ahead.
too.
Well, it's just not even. I know Darren Rovell doesn't like me and doesn't like Barstool, and I'm not sure. Like at first, it was kind of jokey. Now, like I think that really like we don't like each other. I don't know where it started. That's irrelevant. To say that deal was an L, it's like there's just no rational way under any.
Well,
like, he'll have to. What?
I was saying what he assumed is the problem. He said you've got to fund it, and when you resell it, you're going to lose 50%. But those two things, it's already funded, and you're not selling it, so there's no way you could call it an L.
Well, but even let's say in his best case scenario, where we lose infinity dollars like every month for the rest of it, like. Well, what does he think? They put a revolver in my mouth and it's like, "Hey, Dave, you have to take the company for $1." Like
Right.
I was not held at gunpoint when I made that decision. So clearly, I'm comfortable with it. Now, yes, we got to make some changes and whatnot, but it's just an idiotic thing. I think it really stems from he sells a tequila soda. Did you know that?
Oh, he owns one, or he's a spokesman
I
for
think
it?
he started one.
Wow.
I think he's both. I think he
Yikes.
started one, and why does Tommy look like he's on TMZ?
It does look
It
like
does look like that. The
I'm
office
right next
feel
to them.
it is very TMZ-ish. Yes.
Well, I'm confused.
The Yak is back, so they're in the studio. So this is if you could turn the camera, you would see your office. That's where we are.
I'm right here.
Wait a minute.
Oh
wait a
yeah,
minute.
we're in the middle of the office.
We're competing against the Yak right now.
Yes.
No, it's over.
Well, no, they ended, but they started. They usually go longer, and we start, so it's like an overlap thing.
Got it. Yeah, so he's just a fucking little twerp, fucking piece of shit, like loser who always, no matter what I do, is going to say something negative. But there's no rational scenario in the world where you could say for Barstool it was a bad deal. It wasn't. So he's in it.
I mean, if it was anybody else, if someone said I get to buy Barstool Sports for $1, a business person would never say that's a bad deal. So why would it be a bad deal for you?
Right. And there is an argument to be made. Well, now Dave is going to have to pay the expenses, and if they're not making money and all this stuff. Yeah, of course. I realize that. Like, we're in a different world. Barstool has changed. Like, by the way, you know both. Well, Tommy, you don't. But Kevin and Feidelberg knows. When I ran Barstool myself, we made money. Like, I understood that it was a for-profit business, and the more we made, the more people made. I get that. We got to go back to that. It's a different world. We haven't been in that world since Chernin and Penn. It was grow, and that is no longer what we're going to be doing. That's fine. It changes. I can do that. We can do that. Erica can do that. That's fine.
I don't know if you noticed that when he made this comment, Feidelberg pointed out, it was on an account that had 67 likes and 2 comments. Like, he's not, like, wherever this originated, it wasn't even a big thing.
Yeah, that I'm getting back into the driver's seat here where I just have beef with everybody because I have beef with that account. I was mad at that account because that account.
But who are they? Who the fuck is Sportico? Why do you?
They're the ones who started the rumor the other day that I sold all my Penn shares, which I did not, because they don't know how to read a fucking financial document. Because we had when we did the deal with Penn, our stocks vest. I had restricted shares. I can't sell them. They're like. And I'm not talking about just vesting. It's a different type of share where in order for me to be able to sell, I have to fill out paperwork and they get transferred from, I don't know, place A to place B. And basically, place B is my own account. So instead of the shares living somewhere where I have no control, they got transferred to where I have control. That doesn't mean I sold them. I haven't fucking sold them. They're sitting in my account. Now, I could sell them now. But I couldn't sell them before I did the paperwork. And people are reporting that because I'm like, hey, I want control of my shares, that means I'm selling them. Idiots. Absolute idiots. So fuck Sportico too. Because, by the way, I own a ton of Penn stock right now still. So I want to go up. When you start reporting that I sold it, it makes it look bad. So all those people who reported that should be fucking in prison. If I did that, I'd be in prison.
I was gonna say let's get the stock price back up. Let's stop talking. I don't want anybody talking bad about it.
But honestly, it's a bad look to say I sold $30 million worth of shares. I didn't. So
Right.
stop saying I did.
No, that's
insider trading.
Yeah, that's
they might have shorted the stock.
No, that honestly is a big thing, a big chunk of money to announce that's not real. That really.
And then Sportico, that thing they just put up, they admitted it. They published it. Everyone ran with it, and then I freaked out. And 15 minutes later, they're like, "Well, it doesn't mean he sold. It just means he took control of it." No shit. Everyone in the world would take you. Would you rather live in a Penn account, which you no longer affiliated with, or your own? Obviously, my own.
We also talked about the Kyrie Irving challenge. We were trying to figure out what Wecky means. Do you know what it means yet?
Sounds like mental games. Like he thinks I think
he just made it
that's
up.
What it's. I think he's like, let's get Wecky. Like I will have a piece of real estate in his brain, which is crazy. Like crazy. Now I will admit I'm off balance on Kyrie.
Ooh,
I don't
really?
A little bit.
I was saying when I looked at it, I saw Kyrie Irving with headphones and a microphone and streaming on the internet, which means you are now in Dave Portnoy's arena where he has the upper hand. But you're saying you're off kilter?
Well, I think he could be like bipolar.
Yeah.
Like when this whole thing with Kyrie started, and again, the whole thing's nuts that he gets like offended that people talk about his basketball playing when that's like what you do. You're a basketball player. But he then put up, so we got in this back and forth, and he's DMing and I'm DMing, and then he put up a picture of that Halloween party where Bald Paul was the big three.
Garnett, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in that picture as Craig Sager. This is like 10 years ago. He put it up, deleted it. So that's a weird move.
That is a weird move. He seems like the type who would post it and stand by it. I'm surprised he deleted it, to be honest.
Then he DM'd me on the side, and he's like, I shouldn't have put that up, really. He's like, yeah. And he's calling me racist, and I'm like, well, you're anti-Semitic. And then he's like, you know what? Let's just, like, hold off until we meet each other. And
see, I'm surprised you're off kilter because I feel like Kyrie is kind of playing the game now and gets it, and he's like not going to be an asshole to you. Like I feel like he has some like common ground almost and understands the game a little more.
Yeah,
than he used to.
but posting that picture and deleting it is not something I would ever. That's like not my playbook at all.
Your play, no, but I could see Kyrie a couple years ago would post that and be like, these guys are racist. But now he's gone through some of his own shit with anti-Semitic and yada yada, and now almost deleting it and DMing you being like, that was, that's fucked up because I had that done to me.
I don't know. I don't totally know. I wouldn't be. Here's my thing with Kyrie. I don't want it to go down the racist, anti-Semitic thing. It wouldn't shock me if somehow it went back down that lane.
Well,
I don't want to go back down that lane.
I think he also right now is leaning into it, talking about playing one-on-one, like having some fun with it. The minute that it turns south for him, and he'll just he'll play that card because he can and he knows it.
It's gonna go south.
Yeah.
It's gonna go south because you can't that's the only thing where it's like, well, no matter what you say, it's a touchy subject. Other than that, you're going against King Kong. Like, what can he say to me besides that? Like, oh, you're racist.
I think if he says you're racist, you just have to stay wacky.
You got to be wacky with it.
Yeah, you got to go wacky.
I was saying if somehow you do play one-on-one, what do you think would happen if you played one-on-one? Like, not the game, but just like that video, that interaction, how do you think it would play out?
I think it would probably be funny. I think I'd probably humanize his ass.
Yeah, I see. That's where I think you actually, those things. If you even show up to it, it kind of shows that you're playing the game a little bit.
Totally.
And that goes. That all you have to do is show up basically, and then people will be like, "Oh, that was kind of cool. He played one-on-one with Dave." Like,
but
and then
he
wins.
But I don't like being mentioned either in this. And that guy Guns, I guess I like. He's like a Barstool fan. I kind of know he is. I don't like being mentioned in the same. But like, I don't like what it went downhill when he started being like, "I'll play you in one-on-one."
Yeah, you want to be special. I started off the show saying I love Guns too. I went to college with him. Actually, we worked at the radio for a little bit together. He does his own thing. I've seen him on the news before. But there's a gap between you two. It should be a Dave Portnoy thing, not a Dave and Guns thing.
So when he's like added Guns, I lost interest. I didn't pursue it anymore because I'm like, all right, this guy's just playing everyone one-on-one. Now he called me out again. I didn't see that coming, so I texted him, and I have his number. I'm like, all right, when are we doing this?
How did you get his number?
He gave it to me.
Oh, well, like you DM'd and he said, "Here's my number."
Here's the number. Let's set up late August. So.
I mean, so quickly too.
Coming up.
Yeah. We don't have the exact date. He just said late August. Let me know when.
For some reason, like before that last video, I would have been like, Kyrie is a bipolar wacko, and it's not going to happen. I don't know. That last video seemed to be like he's kind of starting to get the internet like 1%, and even entertaining the idea.
I don't think so, Kevin. I don't think so.
I would love it, man. It would be good for him. It's like the one thing, he's like such an asshole, and if he just did something like cool, I think people would be like, oh, wow, that was actually like a cool thing to do, and it's no sweat off his back.
I think you're giving him far too much credit. But
I mean, I hate him just as much as anybody, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just went back to being an asshole, but there was a glimmer of hope there. We were talking about the other infamous one-on-one basketball game. I just want to recreate another Barstool one-on-one challenge.
The Mitzi Spags, yeah.
The Loud Sean.
I can see the confusion though.
Yeah.
Very similar body types.
Loud Sean.
Also, today we dropped tickets for the Barstool 20th anniversary.
Did that sell out yet?
I don't know if it's sold out.
Is it on sale now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Austin! He's not there. That should be a sellout. To promote the tickets for the 20th anniversary? Yeah, new video. Send the new video. How much are the tickets?
I think that's a bit of a point of contention.
How much are the tickets?
$200.
$200 a ticket?
Yeah.
Ain't cheap.
Ain't cheap.
Yeah, listen, I get it.
I think that is for like the diehards, and if you are into
Cliff DiMartino is going to be there.
I think it's like only a few hundred seats.
There's not a lot of seats. People complain about everything. Listen, I get it. If I was a poor person, I complain too.
Yeah.
The bottom line is we are like, if you only have a couple hundred tickets,
right?
What are you going to make them like $20? Like people don't get that.
Not to mention,
complain about everything.
You go to a concert now, it's like
people complain about the Pizza Fest. Pizza Fest is $150 a start. The Wine and Food Festival, which I went to in Miami, Guy Fieri, like the Burger Bash, $300 a ticket. Yeah. Our people just complain. We got a bunch of poor people, which again, I've been poor. It sucks. It sucks.
When was the last time you would say you were poor? Like early days?
13 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
Like 2010.
Poor, though?
You would say you were poor? Like when I first started, you would say
yeah. It was still like poor there. Like things were like
touch and go for a while there.
Yeah. I used to play like party poker to try to win money so Renee could get her nails done.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is some poor shit.
Yeah.
That's like, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Like, don't worry, I got this. I'm very good at poker.
Should you go on Cracking Aces?
What's that?
Should you go on Cracking Aces?
Cracking Aces.
Nate's
Cracking Aces.
Ned's headphones are definitely just listening to us, and he's acting. Can I ask about a controversy that I heard about? Do you have a yak controversy going on?
There's not one here.
There's
overlap on the show, but I was like, do not feel compelled to stop.
Well, why wouldn't we go later?
I just don't want to go later.
But that's crazy.
I mean, I don't. When the way it was posed to me was that the yak is from 1 to 2, and sometimes they go like 15 minutes late, and sometimes they go like 2.5 hours late. I'm not going to start the show at 4 o'clock.
So here's
I said, how about if they go for an hour and a half, and I go at 2:30?
So are like they on right now while we're on?
I think so.
That's crazy.
They are. Yes.
None of them are at their desk.
That's crazy.
Why are we thinking in terms of like a radio channel? That's so crazy to me. Why, we don't do anything like that anymore.
No. But I am thinking, whether it's you, whether it's me and you, and then you get the yak with Dan and everybody, it's crazy to have the same shows on at the same time.
I actually don't think it is. I think the way that YouTube works, having overlap and redirects might actually be better than having ending and starting.
I can't believe that would be the case. Like you're saying, if
when they ended, I think like it was like 700 people got kicked over to our channel, and then we were just like in our show going. I bet you that's better than like the Yak ending and people starting up our show.
But wouldn't it be like the same channel?
It's different channels.
They're on the Yak and we're on Barstool Radio.
Okay.
Or
the main Barstool.
So let's say a world, and obviously this just restarted up, but let's say a world where it's like, I don't know, whatever the name is, let's say it's the Barstool main YouTube is carrying our content. So like the Yak is on that, it ends like, all right, now Kevin,
if it's all on the same channel, yes, it would not.
Like that, to me, would seem to be the most obvious.
Yes, but it was just a world where it was like, I don't want to be doing this from 4 to 6. So it's either.
What time is it right now? 2:30?
2:30. So originally I was like, if they go from 1 to 2, we'll go from 2. They were like, we always go over. I was like, okay, I'll go 2:30. You guys go for an hour and a half. I thought that was okay, and now I'm hearing through the grapevine that's still a problem. If they want a full 2 hours, I'm just like, I don't want to be doing.
We want to do 3 to 5.
Yeah, listen. I mean, I always will do what's best for the company. But
by the way, if we figure that out, which I think you bringing the show back, and who knows what happens, but if there's a world where we're putting together 3-4 shows, they got to be on the same channel. Right? We all agree that.
Yeah, I know the Yak has their own YouTube though.
That's what I mean. Like I think that's a kind of old school way of thinking.
Big.
I think that there's a world where like if you have all YouTubes that are under your control, and they all grow and like you can redirect to other channels, and not have to be on the same channel. I don't think that's necessarily the craziest thing.
So, but I would wager significant money in 2 scenarios where the Yak ends. Barstool Radio, like it's some sort of transition. And up next, hey, Kevin, what's going on? And, you know, they connect to a degree, and maybe they do. But that would end up having more viewers than the Yak ends, and those people then have to go to.
They don't, but that's what I'm saying. So it's a different channel, but YouTube has a redirect where it's like there's a link or a click and you just go. Oh. It's not like you have to close out and open up and go over.
It's not like if you're watching NBC and you come on ABC, you got to change the channel.
It would be like it's right, you know, they kick it to us.
Okay, that's a little different.
Yesterday there was like a 700 person jump from the Yak. And
right,
which is also not make or break, but I think it's enough that YouTube recognizes something's going on. And
yeah, my point would have been how many people are watching the Yak right now?
I would say I think it's like 100,000 total. I don't know about concurrent.
Not live.
No,
not
so
live,
whatever
but I think
the concurrents are.
Yeah.
Right now,
so 7,000 live. If that show ended and this one on the same channel, like you're saying, you got 700 more. I'm guessing that would be thousands right off the bat. Their audience staying without. That's what I would guess.
But I don't think there's leaving, and it's like you just change over with a click. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it.
But even that click. Like if it just was one continuous.
You're saying one video.
Listen, my thing was I
don't know what I'm saying, Tom.
I think thinking about it in terms of a radio channel is pretty old school, and I do think there's differences in YouTube that I think there even could be value in overlap. But if there's not, I also don't know if it would be a material enough difference that listen, this is straight up from like a personal point of view. It was like I didn't even really want to start Barstool Radio again, but I was like it's the right time and it's good, and I don't want to be getting out in New York City rush hour. So I was like, let's just do it when we want to do it. And by the way, it's going to be like a replay. It's going to be audio podcast. It's going to churn out a bunch of clips. And if there's like, and I obviously know overlapping isn't like perfectly maximized, but if there is a few people here and there, I don't think that makes or breaks either show. So my thought was like, let's just do what's best for everybody on either show in each city. But if it's, if it becomes that big of an issue, we'll figure it out. I feel like you are very much in the mix, like back hands-on. Do you think that's gonna last, or?
I had a sales meeting today.
I think
I let him know.
Davey's back.
I let him know I was here.
Crack some skulls?
I didn't crack skulls, but it's like their comp plan was fucked to me. They should be making more money on their comp plan, less base salary. A lot of people may not make it. This is going to get grimy again. I will yell at you. I may forget about it 5 seconds later. If you can't handle that, don't be here. But I'm sick of the fucking excuses. And honestly, our comp plan was ass backwards. So salespeople, I want people up there like a bunch of Gordon Gekko looking motherfuckers who like I don't trust, but they're
like
out
scumbags.
there.
You want them like on the phone like Leo and Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, right. And we'll see. There's too many people up there.
Dude, there's too many people. Like
yeah.
Even in the 2 weeks I've been doing a little bit of business stuff, it's like you got to talk to like 30 different people to.
I mentioned this. There was a thing like Raising Cane's big sponsor, and I'm friends with Todd Graves. Like I'm friends with him. So. And they advertise a lot. So it's a great client to have. They have a great product. They spend a lot. Like we did a podcast and there was a controversy like on the chicken fingers weren't set up properly in the room. And Austin's yelling and it's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm getting yelled at the chicken fingers. I'm like, well, where's the sales rep? The sales rep was upstairs. It's like, walk your ass downstairs. Put the fucking chicken fingers.
Fix the chicken.
Yeah. Your client.
Yeah.
This is like your livelihood.
Right.
Like how?
Yeah.
Right, it's not on Austin as the.
But that's the thing. I don't think anybody in the new world is like I do multiple things.
Oh yeah,
it's just like
I
do this
made
one
that
thing.
clear. And to be honest, it's all negative. To me, I like salespeople as much as people don't like hearing this all the time. Salespeople should be amongst the highest paid people at the company. That's uniform at every company. Salespeople make bank. They go out. They're driven by money, and we got to get to that. There should be more upside for them, but
yeah, I feel like they should make bank, but it's usually performance based. Like
totally, that's what I'm saying.
It's like if we make you
what I set up there, they should have been happy with. I'm like, your comp plan's out of control. Like your bases are too high, and you're not allowed to make enough. Like you should be like, I am not working here with this comp plan.
I feel like what we have right now are people who like a high base and a low.
Well, what does that do? You're not selling. That's correct.
But like people like me, you like a lot of people who've been here for a while would gladly take a lower salary and a higher percentage.
Yeah, there's a guy around here who, but he was what you want out of a sales guy.
Isn't it? Like he was
DNA.
Perfect for the gig.
DNA.
If it was just a little
DNA.
bit.
Loved
of a
carbonated
better fit
drinks.
everywhere
DNA.
else.
He has the DNA.
Is there any communication there?
He did text me like congrats after the deal.
Has there been like a?
Well, he was.
cooling?
I think at one point he was threatening to beat me up in my backyard. So.
And so that got like very personal. But then was there ever a like, hey man?
We haven't had a cool off period. No, I like.
Do you have like ill will? Like I kind of feel like in a weird way he was one of the very few people who you respected or like at least recognized was doing a good job and like was worth his weight.
Yeah, I was very close to him. I was very close to him. He's buddies with that guy. I gotta go, but he was buddies with that guy who got captured by the Taliban.
Was it really?
The content guy.
Yeah.
Who got captured by the Taliban. So him. I don't know, maybe one day. I mean, he did some shit that's like, he was threatening.
But you know what? Like, I kind of, yes, I think some of his stuff was like shady or whatever. I know. But also,
sounds like a mad
that's why I think he sold like a fuck ton of money.
If you can put a salesperson brain, for the most part, into a body.
Let me ask you this: if you had to sign right now for the forever the future of Barstool, you have to have 10 of him or like 10 of those. Who are you gonna take?
Well, it obviously went pretty south with him.
But when it was, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be some downs, but I think there's going to be some highs with people like that.
Pretty down.
But it was down, like, personally. Like, it's not like he, like, ruined the company, you know what I mean?
No.
So it's like, I'd rather have downs where it's like, fuck you.
But I was very friendly with him.
Backyard,
it was disappointing. I don't have too many relationships that I'm that close and fall apart, so that sucked. But, yeah. All right, I gotta go to this thing. But yeah, the Taliban, look up that story. The guy was a crazy creator. He went to get content and like, he's like, I'm gonna show you how the Taliban live. I think they just captured him.
This isn't like Francis's friend Julio, right?
Yeah, Francis went to
the Taliban. He fell in love with them.
But
they were they were his best
came
friends.
back and he was all good. It was like, you could have.
He put out a pretty pro Taliban blog that chaps did not care for.
Yeah,
Francis did?
No, it was Julio. He was his co-host on
Francis' co-host on Oops.
Oh.
He went to Afghanistan and like lived with the locals and like made a video about it and posted the blog, and Chaps took it as pro Taliban and was not happy.
Chaps did retract eventually. Yeah,
and was like,
He was like, yeah, they're not so bad.
Afghanistan is the Taliban sort of.
Oh no, that's true. Not everyone's the Taliban. I thought you were saying specifically the Taliban.
I think he specifically was like some of the Taliban.
Oh, they captured that guy. I don't know. I like
Must
he
not
went
have
to
had as
make
good vibes
content.
as Julio.
Lord something.
His name was Lord?
Yeah, it was a news story.
Yeah,
like if you Google like Lord something caught by the Taliban,
right?
That was like his boy.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Which is right on like brand for him. He said he was going to do extreme shit. Well, yeah, hopefully he's out.
Yeah, listen, we're not pro Taliban and we're not pro getting captured by the Taliban.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Want that clear.
Yeah, we need more of his mentality upstairs.
For sure.
All right.
At 12 p.m. Eastern Time, the new time slot, we're going to give you an hour of radio so that the world does not spin off of its axis here at Barstool Sports. The Yak will be on at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and they can go open-ended forever. So the Yak fans who watch live are happy. Barstool Radio fans can tune in at 12. I will give my thoughts on the whole matter. I spoke to Dan. Everything's good. I am mortified and embarrassed to be talking about this publicly in the year of our Lord, 2023. Talking about a radio lineup is like when Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon used to be like, you gotta have a newspaper in your hands. And we, the bloggers, were like, look at these dinosaurs who don't get what's going on. I'm sure there are influencers and other podcasts and live streamers who are like, did you see Barstool arguing about a radio lineup?
It's also funny that we're calling them radio lineups when we're on YouTube. Nothing about this is radio. We're just like video. We're just like 3-4 video programs.
It is insanity. There's just like so much that is like not being understood here. From fans, from people in the company. Like, I, first of all, never told anybody when to start or stop. I do not care. Any other show can do any other program at any other time. It's not about that. I was doing the show at the time that I wanted to do it. You do the show. You can go for 4 hours, 1 hour, half an hour. I don't care. The world of YouTube is so little about the live streaming aspect. To be honest, I don't even know who the guys are out there who could watch a full 4-hour YouTube in the middle of the day. Everyone I know in my life would watch on replay, would rewind and just start the beginning of a show that they came to late, listen to the audio afterwards, and listen to the replay at night, watch the replay at night. There's like a small chunk of a few thousand people, a few hundred people that are going to be watching live that I don't think makes or breaks Barstool Radio. I don't think makes or breaks the Yak.
So we love them.
Yeah, totally. And like, yeah, if you are a live viewer right now, this lineup works. And so like the people who do watch live can get it all. I think I would prefer to go longer than an hour, but that's also just because I'm very talkative and I never shut the fuck up, and getting things done in a tight hour is pretty tough. But, yesterday we went for an hour and a half and we probably could have trimmed the fat and done it in 1 hour, so we'll do it in 1 hour.
There's also probably going to be like, this has been such a busy last week with the sale and everything, whereas like when we're in like maybe November.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, this will eventually also go back to like, we're just going to talk about topics and current events and all that. But we can probably do it all in an hour. And also, like, everything at Barstool Sports in like 6 months, like, no one's gonna, like, put it this way: if next week Dave's on the show and he's ripping at 12:58, we're not gonna stop. I mean, it's just like, there's no actual reason to stop, because it's not like there's a serious company being like, we gotta run ads, or we gotta, like, we sound like we're at like 650 Des Moines radio on the AM, being like, well, we gotta get our ads in, and we gotta get out at 1:54 so the new show can start at 2 o'clock on the dot. It's just not a thing.
I thought it was. Like, no, maybe I'm just stupid and I didn't understand.
You're just,
I'm dumb. But I thought of it like a radio lineup. To me, in my sense, in my head, it made sense to be like, okay, we stop, they go, they stop, we go. I didn't know there was like
the logic of that.
Yeah.
But it's just like we used to be on a radio channel where we're 30, 40 something years old. Like, we're old. Like, it's not. That's what I'm like. It's not even about like who's right or wrong. I'm just telling you, if you know a little bit about YouTube, it doesn't matters.
That would be the case if we were all on one. If we create some like Barstool Radio,
which also horrible idea.
Right.
Another, like when Dave was like, "Let's all be on the same channel," I'm like, "Oh no, we're going back."
Then that would be there would have to be like a hard out.
Then that makes no sense. But it's not how the world works anymore, where you have one channel. Because, by the way, we used to do this with podcasts. When KFC Radio was the only podcast, then Pardon My Take started, we staggered the podcast days. We came out on Tuesday, Thursday. They did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. To only have one podcast come out on one day.
Nobody's ever listened to two podcasts.
Never.
In a day.
but at that point, that didn't make sense. Let's not try to cannibalize. But then there was 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 podcasts. There's no way we can do that. Everybody put out what they want when they want. It's almost like the blog, too. It would be like, why would you publish a blog on Barstool New York at the same time as Barstool Boston? You can go consume them whenever you want. It doesn't matter. You can have 2 different schedules that overlap in this world of the internet that we're on, and it doesn't matter. There's actually also a case to be made for, I genuinely believe, I'm not just saying that because I was the guy coming in with the new show. If I listen to the outro of one show, where that's always a little busy work at the end. Hey, tomorrow we're going to be doing this. Special thanks to this person. And then it ends, and then you come to my show, and I'm doing my intro. Today is August, blah, blah, blah. That's like a few minutes of time where you're like, whatever. If Yak ends, and they kick it to us, and we're screaming about Rico, and it's just like, whoa, well, I genuinely think you kind of have this overlap web that can actually benefit. Maybe it doesn't really benefit, but I definitely don't think it hurts. And also, by the way, if it did hurt, I think we would be the show getting hurt because the Yak is established and Dan is a megastar and like more people listen to him and his fans are, the Yak fans are like so diehard for the Yak. So we would be taking a hit, and I'm okay with that because I have at this point in my career, I'd rather worry about my schedule than a few extra fans during a live 30-minute window of YouTube. So I really just can't stress how silly it all is. Hank, who has a grasp on YouTube, was kind of saying overlap. Because also, by the way, what happens when probably in 15 minutes, Son of a Boy Dad wants to do a live stream?
Right.
And also Anus. And then all of a sudden, we have 5 shows that want to do something live. Are people going to be going on air at 7 a.m. because it's all going to line up? Eventually, it just becomes too many people, too many talented people doing too much content. And if you want a live element, it does add a little something, so I understand that. So go live whenever you want. And most of these things are different shows with different audiences, and if there is some overlap, you pick which one you like the most, and you go back and you rewind.
Do you want me to read Hank's tweet that kind of tipped the scale in terms of like ending or whatever? So Hank had quote tweeted Big Cat, who said he'd prefer, the Yak having no definite ending, whatever. Hank said no definite ending for anything IMO. People need to embrace the overlap when it happens, or everyone internally is going to bitch and moan about shows and streams ending, and the fans will be the ones who lose when a great episode has to end because of the clock and not naturally. That makes sense. Then he says everything KFC Radio said on Barstool Radio made sense. Shows can overlap and end when they end. YouTube can redirect audience to an already live show. Way better chance to hold viewers on a live show than ending a show. Than ending one show and hoping viewers stick around and wait for the second.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I didn't even I get why the initial thought process was the way it was because I just didn't think like this. But it makes way more sense.
I sent a tweet to Nick that was from a fan. I don't know if you got that tweet, Nick. If you could put that up. If not, I'll just read it from my phone because there's the other side of the coin that is. It sounds very logical.
It's up.
Okay, yeah. Every show should be on the Barstool main channel and run back to back like every other network has done since the beginning of time. You can go ahead and show his name because I want to point out how stupid he is. Nobody wants to channel hop or have 2 shows on at the same time. It splits the audience. Dogleg Sports, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about.
There's ESPN and ESPN2 and ESPN News and ESPNU and
by the way, those we're on the fucking internet. It's like we're never going to go back to one channel. That's idiotic. We're not. Since the beginning of time is your point. You're talking about some antiquated, archaic shit that you don't know what you're fucking talking about. You're not splitting the audience. The live view is not that big of a deal. You just don't, and if you don't know what you're talking about and you're used to a radio lineup, you think you're making sense. But you're just not.
But there's definitely going to be some cannibalism of the audience or whatever. Like,
sure,
we're going to be chopped up a little,
at,
but not enough to make it a difference, right?
If you probably, I think the Yak and early Barstool Radio are doing like 150,000 views, downloads, whatever combined, and the concurrents are like a few thousand at a time. 4,000 or 5,000 at a time. If there is and then I think when the Yak redirected the other day, we got 700 viewers that came over. Maybe there's 700 here or there. Or 150,000, and then a couple thousand here or there. I am not gonna shift my whole life back to getting home at 7 p.m. for a few hundred viewers. And then people are like, oh, you want this show to end early so that you can get home in time? No, I don't. You can go as long as you want. I never once said anything about anybody. Where's Jack Mack? Get him in here because I see this. I see that he said KFC wanted the act to end early. I mean, I was literally screaming it from the mountaintops.
I think as long
that's what said anything about.
I don't know anything about YouTube programming. Obviously, my main thing was as long as we're not known as the show that makes the Yak end, I think we're fine. And now we are definitely not. We never were that, but we definitely are not that now.
I've said it very blatantly. Several times. I want someone to go make a supercut of it, so I don't know where this even came from, but that is true because the Yak fans are very passionate. Yep. Nobody wants to be known as that show. That is bad PR for the show. What are you talking about, Jack Mack?
I don't know what you said on the show.
Well, then why would you go say that I said something if you don't know what I said on the show?
Or stick one.
Well, I'm about to put the mic on.
Yeah, well, I'm asking you what you said.
Give him a minute, bro. In the meantime, I'm wearing my new Coca-Cola shirt.
So when?
Cool shirt, Tom.
So you said you don't want to do the show at 4. Why not?
Because I want to get home in time to go to Little League and do show.
Okay, so that's what I said.
Well, this says KFC wanted the Yak to end early. Jack Mack's video in it said KFC wanted the Yak to end early.
So who wrote that? Because I can pull up the exact thing that what was said, because I don't think I said that. I said that there could be an out time, but I did not say that you wanted it to be to end early.
Can we watch a video on here?
Out time you come from? Because I've said on this show, on social media, I said I never told anybody to end their show at any time. Okay. And there should be no pressure to feel that. That's not like I'm telling you from my understanding of YouTube that not only do I not want it, I encourage overlap. So it's not even like a fake thing where I'm like, oh, I don't care if you end early and I want you to. I'm almost telling people. I told Pick Central today, go overtime because it probably would be better.
Can you explain what redirect is?
So if YouTube, it defaults to autoplay. You have to put in your settings and turn off autoplay if you don't want it. I think most people just have their autoplay. If you set up a redirect, it means that when the Yak ends, it just kicks you to Barstool Sports.
You have to set it up. So people watching now.
Well, we do, but not
like on our back end, we would set up to redirect.
The control room just has the Yak end, and then it just goes over to Barstool Radio. And
that's way better.
Right. Now, Dan says that he thought it was that he had to end the Yak in order for that to happen. I don't know what Dan thought. I think he thought that
that is true. It would need to end for the redirect.
But I think he thought that he had to do the redirect when we start or something like that.
So basically,
but that has not you could do the redirect whenever you end.
So they could redirect into a half hour into our show, depending on what they end, or they'll redirect in 10 minutes or an hour in.
Yesterday, I think they went longer than Barstool Radio did, so there would be no redirect.
So are we going to go back to 2:30 then to be after them?
Well, he said he was like, once Hank told me that it's okay, I'm okay with it. I'm like, I know Hank is like a programmer, but it's like, I don't know, man. I know what I'm talking about with YouTube. Yeah. So why did this even become a thing? But he was like, if you want to go back to 2:30, you can. Now I'm like, well, now it's been this whole fucking thing, and then we moved it, and now
Jack Mack's videos on it said KFC wanted the Yak to end early. That's not what I said. I said a definitive end.
What? I don't. Let me just. Okay, so I'm not. I don't want to attack you anymore if you didn't say it. I'm just saying.
I just listened to what I said, so I just wanted to make sure, I'm not lying. I thought you were saying about early in the video, I brought up the clip when it was, and I said in the video, I get why he doesn't want it to be at 4 o'clock. He has other things to do, which is you're a father, you want to get home, Little League and stuff.
Right.
And then the definitive end, I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, because this is there's Pick Central, there's the Yak, there's gonna be I think other shows on the network. I am not thinking about anybody else's start time or end time. They can do it. You could start a show right now from 12 to 1 or 2:30 to 3:30, literally right on my time slot. I would be okay with it because the vast majority of everybody that I'm really going to go after, I think, is going to be on replays, audio, clips, and they can go back and rewind. So I get it. Whatever. This is radio. People are starting.
Yeah, and I get it. And then also, I mean, I can send you the video. It's on our TikTok. It was just more covering the whole thing.
Sure.
And it wasn't even me taking sides. Like I would say, I like defended you. I defended Big.
You're a journalist, an unbiased journalist.
Journalism.
Ming, And, but I think I understand. I understand everything that's going on here, and I also agree with you 100%. Like Logan said it last night. Like 80% of views will come after the show, anyways.
Right.
But I mean, it's like Barstool, and it's cool. It's like we bicker about things that ultimately are just whatever. But I will say, I did say definitive ending. That's not. I didn't say he wanted it to end early. I said definitive ending for scheduling purposes.
Yeah, I don't want any of that. Oh, but while you're here, I feel like you just hit like 600,000 or 500,000 followers.
It's 600, yeah.
I feel like you're just killing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Pat, thank you.
You're welcome.
Me and Pat have always been kind of enemies.
Oh, have you?
No.
Yeah. Are you guys frenemies or just
frenemies?
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. 3 Fordham guys.
That's right.
Yeah. Look at this.
Listen. Fordham has always just dominated the broadcasting world.
Now we're doing the new age broadcasting world. Fordham dominates.
We're the new version of Mike Breen and Spiriditas and Vince Scully.
I've not been invited back to do a workshop yet, which I find a little bit insulting.
Have you ever been invited back? Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get that.
Yeah, no, maybe
not.
not.
You haven't gotten invited. I'm definitely not getting invited.
I don't think they're asking the Pussy Patrol to come.
You know those guys that call themselves the Fordham Pussy Patrol? We have them come talk to our students.
No, but thank you, and I love this. I love that Barstool Radio's back.
Cool.
New episodes of Barstool Radio every Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you subscribe and set your notifications on so you never miss any Barstool content.